Bam, we're live. You've missed nothing.
All right, we have teams event number 2 underway. This is called a rewalk. They have a 4-round workout. They started outside. It was a run, 400 meters. That's 2 laps around the building. Everyone has to do the run. Every time they come back from that, 100 feet of handstand walking each must be done in 50-foot sections. So you have to make it all the way across. All 4 of your teammates have to make it all the way across every time. So big demand on capacity on your hands. And if you're just as good as another team at that, then it's all about how fast you want to run.
How many heats here, Brian?
1 heat, 6 teams, 4 rounds, 400-meter run, 100-foot handstand walk in 50-foot unbroken segments. In the white sports bra and black shorts, there's the 3rd athlete for the Crash team, Zach Galloway, the final athlete on their team, getting set to finish his second pass. Once he comes down, all the athletes have to meet at the pylon, which is just off camera, touch it together, and then they can head out the door. So they were your winners of the first event this morning, and they're in the lead after 1 round here in the second event.
Are we going to see any footage outside? Are we going to see where they run? At least get a peek at it. Susan, can you walk over there to the door, or will you be in the way? God, I would hate...
He can do it. So it's 2 laps. He's going to head out to the starting line and where they come through on the second pass. So they go out the door and left. Behind him is going to be coming up the leaders as they start their second lap.
Okay, you lost your Wi-Fi signal there, Susan. Too far. You too far. Too far. Too much moss. There we go.
In terms of the leaders right now, the order through 1 round in this event is the same as the finishing order this morning. So it's the team from Crash, which is called Zax and JR. They're in first place. Apex Performance Black was second out the door. BRRH was third. Camo was fourth. The other 2 Apex teams are both waiting for 1 female athlete to finish either their first or second 50-foot unbroken handstand walk. And this is one of those events where if 1 athlete can't do the skill, nobody can progress in the workout.
And that's a good spot, Susan, right there. I think we have right there. Even if you just stay there, we got a good signal. So they basically have to run in front of Susan to come back into Crash Crucible to finish the handstand walks.
Exactly. So this is Zach Streel. He's the first of 4 athletes that needs to enter in. He'll wait at his pylon inside for the rest of his team. Those athletes are heading on their second lap. That's Jessica, I believe, that's coming in second for her team. That's the first guy, Ryan Fitzpatrick, for the Apex team. There's Reagan Hooks and Zach Galloway. So the team in lane number 6 from Crash, Jackson JR, should be leaders. Here they go on their second set of 100-foot handstand walks.
So team number 1 hasn't even got to the run yet. They're still dealing with the first round of handstand walks.
Lane 1 and 2 are both in that situation, yes. This woman in the orange sports bra on the far side of the floor is 1 foot away and comes down, and so her whole team will have to wait. She'll have to go all the way back to the other side of the floor and try again, and she's in tears on the ground right now.
She is in tears?
Yeah.
I can see her team coming to surround her.
In the foreground, you see this woman with the colorful shoes. That's Apex Performance Black. They're currently second overall. They're working on their first 50 feet of the second 100 feet of handstand walking. Next to them is Team BRRH. They're neck and neck here for the second place in the heat.
And Susan, you can come back inside too if you want. We'll kind of just stick with the top 2 or 3 teams with both cameras.
The top team from Crash is getting set to finish their second round. 2 athletes are done. Reagan Hooks is across the line, and Zach Galloway will be the last to cross. Once he crosses, they'll all have to touch the pylon, which you see there at the end, and then they can run out the door for round number 3. So they're halfway done. 6 minutes and 20 seconds have passed. This team workout has a 16-minute time cap. It's very clear that certain teams are going to be time capped on this. What's not clear is what's going to happen for the top teams in round 3 and 4 as the handstand volume increases.
Yeah. So does that team isn't necessarily out, right? Or necessarily last place, because other teams could completely shit the bed too and further in other rounds.
Well, those 2 teams in lanes 1 and 2 are likely going to be last and second to last because they're so far behind. What I would say is that the team that's winning is not guaranteed to be first. If one of their athletes hits a wall on the handstand walk in round 3 or 4, there's nothing any of the teammates can do to bail you out. And if there's another team that doesn't have that problem, even if they're a minute behind starting that round, it can easily pass you by. Apex Performance Black is out the door in second place. This is the third and final athlete for BRRH. No rep at the end. And you got it, and you're just off camera here. So that's Rachel Blong. She trains here at Crass, actually. And Hayden, who we talked about earlier, who is a member of the CrossFit Believe team. You couldn't see it off the screen. She was very devastated by that no rep. He immediately went to her and said, hey, there's nothing you can do about that. Let's go do it again, and sent her back down the floor, which as a teammate is the perfect response to that scenario. But this is what we were talking about. As you see, one of the athletes in lane number 2 finished up for Apex Predators, so they'll move on to the second round. And now the team in lane number 3, which is the Camo team, has a chance to overtake BRRH in lane number 4. They each have one athlete who has 50 feet of handstand walking to go. But the team in lane 4, who's starting on that first, already had that athlete try and fail at the last step.
I was looking at the scoring sheet right now, and for some reason I can't see the tab for the teams. All I see is Masters and Elite.
Let me ask Tyler real quick.
Those tabs seem to be missing.
Sevan, there's not performance-based scoring for the teams because the sample size of teams we decided is too small.
Okay.
I can find it for you though.
Oh no, okay, it's fine.
It's easy to find. Just give me about 10 seconds.
Okay.
I'm going to send the link to you and Caleb the same way that I sent the one for the individuals.
Okay, and can we post that publicly in the chat?
Yeah, it's on Local Comp. Anyone who wants to can look it up. I'm going to send it to you guys in our little text message thread, so Caleb should have it now.
Okay.
And, but otherwise, if you search Local Comp Crash Crucible, there's 2 leaderboards that will show up there. One for the teams. They're using the regular scoring system, 100 down to 50 by 10, because there's only 6 teams. The performance-based scoring works better and better with bigger fields and more tests. Round 3, and we have a battle right now continuing between the team from Crash and the Apex Performance Black. Crash has 2 of their athletes done with the 100 feet. Reagan and Zach Galloway are working on their third. The second pass down in this round, and she's moving backwards, and this is what I'm talking about. She comes down, she's going to move out of the way. Zach Galloway can continue, but she has to go all the way back to the other end. As she's going back there, you see athletes from Apex Performance in lane 5 starting to head this way. So that lead in round 1 and 2 can all be erased by one athlete having one mistake on one section of these handstands. The males for Apex Performance Black are in, having a little fun with each other there. And females are both up on their hands as Reagan Hooks is yet to kick up for a second attempt on this second pass. The leading athlete here for Apex Performance Black stumbles 10 feet out, but gets it done. And that leaves one athlete to go. I believe that's Kara bringing up the rear for them.
Are those 4-foot
And
segments,
she's in.
those squares? How many feet are those segments?
5. So Apex Performance Black is the new leaders through 3 rounds and 10.5 minutes into this. On the right side of the screen there in the white and black is Reagan Hooks, Crash on the Crash team. She came up short at this point on her previous attempt on the floor. She's got 5-6 feet to go. The midline is really giving out here. 2 feet to go.
Oh, JR saw that. What did JR say? What's the call on that?
It's up to the judge on the floor.
Holy shit. That was close. Did your hand have to clear the line, or can it be on the line?
Has to clear the line. Do not have to show control.
What did you see, Brian?
I would have given the no rep.
You would have given the no rep.
Obviously, Andrew's right over my shoulder.
Oh, right. Well, I saw JR's face just in a quick shot that maybe he had a shot of disgust.
Yeah. But,
She got it. She got it. I was
She
right
did?
there.
All
she got
right,
both
all right,
hands across,
all right.
and then she came down.
All
So if they don't
right.
have to have control, they just got to get across. She's in there like swimwear.
All right. Souza giving the official call. None of this pundit bullshit that me and Brian are doing.
No,
Official
he probably
call
had
for
the
me.
best. He probably had the best vantage point. There's a table that I have to look past that obstructs half of that lane. As you can see me in the background here.
Holy shit! You already got a replay,
I don't
Beaver?
know. That's really close.
You already got a replay. This ain't no Mickey Mouse operation.
I'm going to stick with my call.
Oh my goodness!
But it's the judges' call on the field that stands. So they're out there on their last run. Apex Performance Black continues to lead. They'll all be coming in for the last round. We've got 12 minutes that have passed, 16-minute time cap. BRRH working on their third set of handstand walk. 3 athletes are going to be across, no problem. And the last one's going to be ready to kick up.
J.R. Howell on the mic. Rick Jones making sure the media gets done right. Mike Halpin showing some concerns. Weighing in. He's not sure. Too close to call.
Sevan, come to my camera.
Yes. There he is. Jared Graybill. What's up, brother? How you doing? How you
This is
doing?
the first stream we've done together since the Zalis games with Jared let us do last year. So a lot of this is possible thanks to him believing in us 12 months ago.
The experiment.
The leaders
Zalis
on the floor are back inside the building. This is Apex Performance Black. They come in with a 10-point deficit, having taken second to Crash in the first event of the day. If they're able to get the win here and Crash holds on to second, they'll be tied on points and performance heading into day number 2. This is the final athlete for Apex Performance that's working her way down the first 50-foot segment as the first athletes for Crash kick up. Zach Streel, no problem. Jessica looking great. Zach Galloway on his hand. And Reagan Hooks, who is the girl on their team that struggled on the way back down, is going to now be the last one working her way down the floor. Apex Performance has 50 feet in the books for all 4 athletes.
Oh, here they come. Here they come. It's going to be close.
So Reagan heading that way. She's 4th on her team as the first 2 guys for Apex Performance Black get across.
Why did she wait so long to go, Brian? Why did Reagan wait so long to go?
Because it's 50 feet or nothing. If you don't make it, if you make it 49, and she just made it 44 feet and missed. So she should have waited longer.
Oh, she did? She didn't make it?
She didn't make it. Here she comes walking back.
Oh, shit.
And the time cap's less than 2 minutes away. The fact that she's already failed on 2 of these segments means it's unlikely she's going to get both of those done. As if this athlete gets across, it doesn't matter. Boom, that's it. Win, event win for Apex Performance Black. 100 points for them, 90 points this morning, 190. So the worst situation for them possible is a tie for first heading into day number 2.
Ross
Reagan.
Lewis, thank you. $1.99. Thank you. Coffee for Beaver.
Reagan is giving it another attempt here. We've got 1 minute, 10 seconds to the time cap. BRRH have 2 of their 4 athletes back from their last run.
Oh, 44 feet again?
Yep.
Is that her 3rd attempt at 44
That's her
feet?
second in this round. She also had one of about 44 feet in the previous round that she missed. So she's done over 120 feet of handstand walking that hasn't counted so far.
Wow, so they went from
And
first
now
place.
look at this. Possibly to 3rd. There's 45 seconds to go. BRRH is going to clear 3 of their athletes across the floor. We have to keep our eyes on lane 6 and 4 here. Both of them have 1 athlete on this side of the floor. And if one of them makes and the other doesn't, that would be the difference on the points. Otherwise, it would be a tie on reps. I'm going to check real quick and see if there's any tiebreaker while we watch this.
Event number 2, the teams are underway. After the teams will be the masters. After the masters will be the individual. We are at the Crash Crucible at CrossFit Crash in Spartanburg, South Carolina.
And with 3 seconds to go, Rachel Blong gets across the line. So that was massive for Apex Performance Black because Apex Performance Black now has a first and a second, 190 points. BRRH now has a second and third, 170 points. And Crash has a first and a third, 180 points. So it'll be 190, 180, 170. Apex Performance Black will be the leaders going into day number 2 by 10 points over Crash and 20 points over BRRH.
I wonder what they say to her. The girl.
Shake it off. We got another one. You did a ton of work, and that didn't get credit for. That's the nature of it sometimes. Reagan is, like Quentin McQueen, is a very young athlete. She trains with a lot of high-level athletes here. From the last time I saw her at Crescendo 6 months ago to now, she's improved a lot. And I think that she's only going to continue to improve. She's got a good mentality that you want to see in a young athlete. Do you guys have the women's scoring from event number 1?
I do.
Women's elite.
Let me see.
Can we pull that up?
I think I can do that.
If we pull it up, I'm going to have Tyler jump in here for me and explain to you guys what's going on where they transition the floor before the Masters women take on a test 2. Just hold that up.
Look at that. Look at that. Am I on the right? Is this right?
Yeah, that's right.
Is it big enough?
Big enough for me.
Okay.
So the women's really cool. Let's see here. Most of them finished, which was great. I really like when JR and I were talking about this workout, we really wanted as many women to finish as possible, as many athletes to finish as possible. So that was dope to see. But somebody finishing two athletes finishing way outside of everybody else is so cool.
Because of what it does to the scoring.
Yeah, it widens it out. So you can see for those two, they have 197 points. So it's just the one that says points. Whereas normally it would have been 196, and then it jumps to 88 points for Danielle being so far out of the other two.
Oh, I see where you're looking. I didn't even see where you were looking. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go. Rank number 1, games rank number 1, Ariel Saunders. She finished the event in 6:47. 18 reps is how many reps she did. What's this number 22.61?
Okay, so when people time cap, basically you can't score it straight. So using anything else, you would just use the time. But because people capped out, you have to use the time and then the reps that they finished. And this is my equation for doing that. Basically, I'm taking the seconds that they took to do the work that they did. Seconds divided by reps.
Okay.
And then it produces that work number, but you can use the same equation.
Okay. And basically, the distance relative between all of the athletes gives Emma Harvang, who's in second place, only 2.5 points less than first place.
Exactly. And it's the best and the middle score. So it's not everybody, because at the bottom you can see like Ellie Hiller and Aaliyah Miller. Everybody below them got 0 points.
I'm trying to see where the points are. I'm trying to see where the point. Oh, way down here. Okay.
Yeah. So everybody below Ellie Hiller, well, Ellie Hiller included, got 0 points. And it's basically saying, like, you weren't, I know these girls, I love these girls, but you weren't good enough at this workout to be considered in this scoring. Does that make sense?
Yeah, Ariel's the fastest time is 6:47, and by the time you get down to 12 minutes, you've run out of points to allocate. You're too far away.
Yeah. And if that seems harsh to people, it's like, to use Dave's argument, we're trying to find the fittest, right? I'm not concerned about the bottom of the field. I am to a certain degree, but when it comes to judging the distance between you and another athlete who are at the top, I want to worry about you. I don't want to concern myself with the people at the bottom.
Do any sports actually use this?
The way I sort of think about it is powerlifting. So it's like powerlifting does this. It's just everything's in pounds or kilos, right? So if you deadlift 500 pounds and I deadlift 500 pounds, both of our totals are 500, right? And then you go and squat 400 pounds and I squat 300 pounds. I have 800 and you have 900. That's our score. This is just doing it across all kinds of movements.
Okay.
It's the same thing.
And instead of measuring your performance, instead of the score being your time by itself or your place by itself, it's relative to the field.
Yes.
And I guess you have to do that. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. So if you do a total and you get 1,800 pounds and I do a total and I get 1,000 pounds, everyone knows you're almost twice as strong as me.
Right.
It's not just I took second.
Right.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. Camera 3's back up.
Has it been out?
It's like one of the ladies was missing from my harem and now she's back. Wow, this is great.
I'm glad you're finally starting to get the scoring. It's only taken us 3 years.
I'm really starting to get it. There's another part that I think I even also get. in regards to the way I think of it also is you take the fastest time and then you take the average time. It's probably not the average. You're using median.
The middle. Yeah, the
You
median.
take the middle. And if you fall further than equidistant from the median to the first place to the worst place, then you get a 0.
Right.
So
So
basically,
for this,
like only people within 10 miles of my house in a circle can come to my party. If you live out 11 miles out, you ain't coming to the party.
sorry, you're cut off. Yeah, like
you're cut
delivering
off.
a pizza.
Yeah.
Sorry,
yeah,
we don't
exactly.
go to that street.
Yep. You're too far
Um,
away.
Yeah, so it like for the men, it ended up breaking out to being about a half a point per second, which is like more than we've ever been able to say using CrossFit scoring. Like how many seconds is worth a point? That's directly correlating it to work. I think we have 2 minutes till the next event starts. Dude, Brian's on fire. Sitting
he's
next to
doing
him,
great.
I'm like, how are you talking this much? How are there that many words?
Median isn't the same as average.
No, it's
Yeah.
literally just the middle.
God, average is median. No, that's not. It's not. Average
It's
is
not.
different. Yeah. Thank you though. Thank
And
you.
the reason we use that
Oh, look at a bunch
is-
of other people jumped into. Yeah, thank you. To try to tell me my shit.
the reason we use that is because say somebody got 2 reps on that workout. Why would we want to concern ourselves with them? They shouldn't be considered, right? So if you use mean, you
Right,
have
they're
to loop
screwing-
them up.
You're screwing it up. You're so bad that you're going to screw up the scoring. So we threw
Right.
you out.
Yeah.
The pizza's going to be so cold when you get here. It's too far away. It's not worth our time. It's not worth our time
Right.
and money to drive that far to you.
If only I'd have known to put it in pizza terms, we would have saved ourselves 3 years ago.
All right. MLK 5240. Sevan needs to go back to school. Okay. I think we're ready to do this. What am I doing here? Let me pull up these screens here. Perfect. All right, guys. Teams have gone. Last year, teams will be at Crash Crucible. They have their own event at CrossFit Crash called the Crash Crescendo, which is a good sign. I mean, things are growing, getting bigger. We are doing event number 2 of 7. Is it 7 events, Mr. Watkins?
Yep. No, 6.
6 events over.
Well, 7 if you count the back-to-back. So yeah, 7.
Okay, 7 scores. I think Brian said 6 events, 7 scores or something.
Yes.
And we will be covering all the events here on the Sevan Podcast. But as of now, we are about to start the female masters, and which is have they started? Yep, and they have started.
Yeah, they're off.
Tough competition, high quality caliber of athletes here. They are doing the exact same workouts as the elite athletes, so you can compare the elite to the masters. And the second fastest time in the women's event number 1 did come from this masters division. In the foreground there in the America shorts, USA shorts, United States of America shorts is the Sevan Podcast favorite, Jamie Latimer. We are completely biased and have no problem expressing that. Then after the female masters here, we'll go to the men masters, and then we'll move to individual. We had an exciting first event. Colt Mertens is here. James Sprague is here. Ty Jenkins is here. A lot of great athletes in the house. Hannah Black, personal favorite of mine. Best commentator in the biz, Brian Friend. And then, of course, none of this would be possible without the big dog in the middle of the floor, GoWad. I don't know what JR did to get money from them, but their GoWad's some sort of app that you download, and then you spend like 15 minutes with it every day, and it helps you mobilize. I don't know what that is.
It's just some kind of app.
But like all the good dudes do it. So, Brian, you got some food in you, buddy.
Yeah, I just smashed a burrito that Jared brought me.
Oh, that was good. What a good dude. How about this camera? We got 3 cameras back.
Yeah, and this we'll see how it goes with the outside, but this is one of the events that's of the weekend that I was most looking forward to. This is a rewritten version. He calls it Reflip of the 2016 regional event that put Chandler Smith's name on the map. If you remember back then, they ran on the air runner. They had GHD sit-ups, and they had deadlifts, heavy deadlifts, and he was ripping out massive sets of heavy deadlifts against Ben Smith. This is before he lost part of his finger and before anyone knew who he was. Obviously, he's a household name in the sport now. But JR's rewritten it here with the flip sled. So they're running outside, not on the air runner. They got GHDs, 4 rounds of 30. 120 GHD sit-ups is not a small number when everything's said and done. And then 7 flips with this flip sled. I played around with the flip sled yesterday at this same weight that the women are doing. And it's definitely like many of the things we're going to see this weekend, the more chance you get to get your hands on it, the more efficient you can become with the movement. And so we'll see some athletes that move this thing very, very well, and others that will struggle.
What's the weight on the pig flipper?
I'll get it right. I'll just make sure I have it right. It's 300. Oh, that's the wrong document. 360 pounds for the women, 500 pounds for the men.
Damn.
And once again, a massive difference between those two things. I was able to manipulate the 360, I would say, quite well. I was able to do about a rep every 10 seconds, and I barely could get the 500 moving at all.
Where does JR store those?
He's got a lot of space in here. He's got a lot of equipment, but he's got space for it.
My goodness.
In that exact question, like all the rowers at the gym, and he has a member that has basically a semi-trailer that's parked in the back. You guys saw it before I lost signal, and all the stuff is stored in a little trailer.
Wow. In the semi-trailer?
I mean, in the semi-trailer, like he's got this down, man. It's incredible.
Now, the thing about this workout, it's 4 rounds. And anyone who's been doing CrossFit for a long time knows there's a big difference between a 3-round workout and a 4-round workout. When you got a 4-round workout, it's just difficult. It's more difficult to manage because 3-round workout, you finish 2 rounds, it's in the last round. So we'll see athletes that are doing well here in the first couple rounds. I think that it is possible as some of the heats wear on that you'll see some early leaders fade a little bit late in this one and some others that can make a push towards the end, especially if they have good capacity on the GHDs. Right now, the leaders have remained the same. We have Hannah Oakley in lane number 2, who was second place this morning for all the Masters women. We have Jamie Latimer and Stacey Marino battling out for second and third, and Amy Fritt fourth in the heat.
Kenneth DeLapp, Cam 1, get closer to the router, my dude.
Who's on Cam 1?
Goodness. I mean, it's the roaming Cam.
That'd be me.
Yeah, we have no choice. We got to deal with what we have.
Hannah Oakley heading back to her flip sled, and you see she's going to take the double overhand grip and then the smooth transition. You can watch her hands here. She grabs it with her palm facing her and does that smooth flip so it's facing the other way. I did not figure this out yesterday. I was flipping the other way, which is less efficient in terms of the transition.
Do you think she's going to keep this technique with every flip? I bet you she breaks her technique. I bet you this next flip she doesn't do that. I bet you she gets squirrely here.
I think she's going to do the same thing. I just think she's going to take more time between reps.
You're right.
And if we can see Jamie Latimer, she's doing a totally different technique with her hands. Once the last flip is done here by Hannah, we can flip over to the other side of the floor.
Yeah, she's switching gear grips. Jamie's switching grabbing a different part of the implement, transitioning.
Yep, she goes from the bottom to the top once it's resting on her thighs. And I think that we'll see a variety of different ways that people do this as we go through all the athletes throughout the rest of the day.
So Jamie goes from bottom to top, then back to bottom to push it over.
Hannah Oakley out the door in about 7:40. There's a 19-minute time cap on this one. Latimer and Marino are battling on the flip sled as the 8-minute mark passes by. Latimer holding about a 2-flip lead. And Amy Fritt, who, by the way, Amy Fritt is an insanely good runner. But there's also a heavy implement here that she has to navigate.
So look at this. Look
at
at this, Brian. Jamie Latimer, she only had about 6 inches of the sled over the white line, and she had to do an extra flip. Is there any way to mitigate that? Can you give it a push as you flip it?
No. This is a different rule than the yoke.
Okay.
It's a number of flips.
Okay.
And by the way, if you're ever programming a competition with flip sled or pig flips, you absolutely should do the number of flips, not a distance of flips, for that exact reason.
Because people will push it while it's kind of bouncing around and try to get some extra inches and feet on it.
No, because sometimes they just bounce inconsistently. And if for whatever reason, think back to the when they had 20 reps of pig flip at the buy-in of the Capitol. And let's say that you and I were doing them together, and instead of 20, it was go the entire length of the field.
Right.
And just over the course of the entire length of the field, my sled had bounced an extra foot than yours. And you had to do an extra flip of 500 plus pounds.
Yeah.
Because of just a little bit of, inconsistency on the ground. So I like the flips as a fixed number instead of a fixed distance.
So she's going to flip this, and I think she has 2 flips left then.
I think so too.
Oh, yeah, you can tell by where the other pig stopped. Bernie Gannon, there doesn't appear to be a full 50 stars on Jamie's shorts. Which states are not represented? Does anyone have the hashtag for Crash's HR council? Fair, all fair. Thank you, Bernie, for keeping down the fort. That young lady appears to be the lightest athlete in the bunch, and took her the longest to flip the pigs. Here comes our leader back in as our last place leaves.
Yeah. We're at the 10, just past the 10-minute mark. She's into the third of 4 rounds, 19-minute time cap. Hannah, Jamie, and Stacy all on pace to finish under the time cap. Amy Fritt has fallen off that pace, though she should be able to get through, at this rate, everything other than potentially the last set of flip sleds.
We've only been using Suze's camera this whole time. The other 2 angles are fucked. But basically,
I think Hiller's helping his wife right now.
Hey, dude, it's not sustainable for 2 camera guys to do 12 hours of work.
No, should we get some other people in there?
I don't know. Suze's feet are gonna fall off.
You mean there's 2 of us?
Well, it's not sustainable for 1 camera guy. Jamie Latimer on to the GHD. I mean, how's Suze going to do that for 12 hours? How are you charging your camera?
He's got some. I think he's got some backup stuff charging over here.
Dude, I just crushing it. That's why.
You are crushing it. Heidi Kroom should have sent me Sevi. I agree. I totally agree.
If you have any interest in doing camera work for the feet, you can say no. Yeah, it'll believe it.
Hey, the thing is it requires. Look how Suze's like paying attention to what's going on too. It can't just be some fucking dildo. It has to be someone who's like paying attention and gives a shit on what's going on.
Do we have another roaming camera, or do we only have fixed cameras besides his one?
No, we could have other roaming cameras. It would just require. I think he may have taken 2 gimbals with him. It's just going to require it. He makes it look easy, but it's not.
We got some other people here that would be willing to give it a try.
All right. Oh, I don't know if we can have 2 cameras on the Wi-Fi simultaneously. Basically, we just need someone who's paying attention to the cameras that are static too, so that maybe they can adjust them ever so slightly.
Yeah, that should be easy. What's the camera that Hiller was on all day called?
A Sony A7
H. It's called the H.
Oh,
Is
the
H?
Yes.
Is that one active right now?
Yeah, it's just right here. It's this angle. This angle with nothing going on. Oh, there's Jamie Latimer's just rolling into it.
Okay, so we could possibly put someone behind that camera.
Yeah, if they could just tilt it like 2 inches, it could actually be valuable. Although, no, look at Suze got it. Suze is going to do it all.
I'm doing this.
Oh, yeah. Might as well just tilt it a little bit so it has the finish line.
Okay, I'm gonna put another body on that camera.
And throw that on your resume, camera guy and commentator. Look, there's Rick Jones. Who's the guy in the orange hat who's on the table to the right of you? Who's that dude?
That's Draw Your Dagger.
Oh, no shit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool.
That's not his birth certificate name, though.
I understand.
Yeah. So Latimer's out the door around the 13-minute mark. Stacey Marino working on her flip sleds in round number 3. Amy Fritt working on her GHDs in round number 3. Hannah Oakley continues to lead. This is the first of 2 heats of Masters women. The individual elite women will do the exact same event following the second heat of Masters.
How far is the run? 400 meters?
Yeah, it's 2 laps around the building. Last flip for Stacy here in 3 rounds in the book for her. Got to tap the pylon on the way out the door as she does there.
Is that true, or are you just saying that?
No, that's true. You have to touch your pylon on the way in and the way out every time you leave.
What's the point of that?
It's so that you don't cut any corners. So you can't cut out across anyone's lane, and you can't cut in across anyone's lane.
Mm.
And we measured the extra distances that every lane has to run every time they come in and out. That's why there's a staggered start at the beginning, which I don't know if we've actually shown that yet on air, but that's what's happening. The entire difference is made up for by your starting position outside. So there we have Hannah Oakley coming back inside. You see Amy Fritt there working on her third set of flip sleds in round 3.
Did you say Anna Oakley?
Hannah.
Oh.
Why? Is that someone that you know from your childhood in the 50s and 60s?
Yeah, Annie Oakley. I thought it was Annie Oakley.
Last 30 GHDs for Hannah Oakley and 20 and 7 flip sleds. Excuse me, I was distracted by something on the screen that popped up there.
Thank you, Caleb.
1860. I knew it was the 60s.
Clydesdale Media with an important question. Did they wheel that distance at least 5 times? 5 times.
Yesterday we advertised 3 times. Today we're advertising 5. By the end of the weekend, it'll be at least 10.
Yeah. And if any athletes Garmin it, they'll say they measured it 10 times.
Amy Fritt finishes up her 3rd round. She's heading out the door with 3 minutes and 15 seconds to the time cap. Hannah Oakley, 1 rep on the GHD, 3 minutes to go, and she's got 7 flip sleds before finishing event number 2 and setting a time to beat, as she did this morning on event number 1.
Here she is.
I like the finish that they're finishing going this direction is nice because they can see the clock. And you even saw her after that first rep look at the clock.
I'm trying to picture JR going on the Rogue website and ordering like however many of these. He ordered 5 of these and how they get shipped there and what pallets they're on. And do you have to assemble them? How crazy is that? I wonder how often he uses those.
Oh, all the time. He's programmed them in competitions for the past couple of years. He uses them in his classes all the time. There's a variety of different ways to use them. Hannah Oakley, 16:51. Another impressive performance for her on day number 1. And I have to say that she is a legitimate podium threat in the Masters women's division. Jamie Latimer also working on her last 7 flip sleds. 2 down, 5 to go with less than 2 minutes to go. She should be able to get a time underneath the time cap as well. This would be a nice end to her day 1 of competition.
Was Jamie at the Masters Fitness Collective? How'd she do?
First place, 35 to 39 women, and it came down to the final 3 steps of an overhead walking lunge race.
That's what you'd like to see.
She said there's 25 stars on the outside, 25 stars on the inside, and whoever was in the comments can eat it.
There you go. Thank you. I didn't even think you were listening. Good job, Brian. Multitasking. There you go.
1 flip to go for Latimer. 7 flips for Stacey Marino as she's done with her GHDs. 17:50, 59 seconds behind Hannah Oakley unofficially. Amy Fritt is back from her run. She'll have 1 minute to crank away on as many of the 30 GHDs as she can do. 2 flips done for Marino. 5 to go in the final round of 4. It's a total of 28 flip sleds during this time domain. 7 in each of the 4 rounds. 45 seconds to go at the pace she's moving at. She should be able to get done under the time cap. I think she's got 3 more. Yep, judge's hand goes up. One more flip for Stacey Marino. We're going to have 3 finishers here in the first heat of 2 for the Masters women. 18:40. So 1 minute and then a 50-second gap between the 2 finishers. And Amy Fritt ripping away on GHDs here with 10 seconds to go. And again, it's nice. She's facing the clock and she can see it, so she knows exactly how much time she has left. And a phenomenal effort right down there to the finish for Amy Fritt. Day 1 is in the books for the first heat of Masters Women. Heat 2 will be coming up, well, in about 5 minutes.
So the second event is they're done. They're done for the day.
Correct.
While the second heat prepares themselves to come out, there's
Speaking
something
of
I would
heat, see my shirt?
no. Let me see. Oh, the Heat 1 app.
Oh.
I would like to tell you about GoWAD. Get GoWAD, the leading mobility app for CrossFit. Create your own mobility flows, or let GoWAD tailor them for your based. Take 3.
Look at JR stunting it. Check him out.
What? Stunting what? Oh, wow. So JR does GoWAD. That's what I was trying to tell you. JR would not be able to do any of this if it wasn't for GoWAD mobility first. I don't know who switched the cameras, if that was you, Caleb, but that was amazing. Get GoWAD, the leading mobility app for CrossFit. It's the reason why the Crash Crucible can happen and is happening this year at CrossFit Crash. With GoWAD, you can create your own mobility flows, or let GoWAD tailor them for you based on your unique weakness and workout movements. Download the app and start for free. If you ain't got no flow, go to GoWAD. Get the GoWAD app. All right. Hey, is that the floor that's always in there, Brian? And did they just put tape down on it?
Correct.
And does he peel all that up when it's over?
Yes.
Wow. And does it always say GoWAD in there? That's peeled up too.
They put that down last night.
Wow. Okay. Well, good work, man. JR is the kind of person who always over delivers, under promises and over delivers.
There you can see the staggered start. Lanes 2 and 3 have no extra distance to make up. Lane 4 has a little bit. Lane 5 has a little bit more. And all of it is accounted for at the start. Wheeled 17 times. Distance is accurate.
I did hear 17. That you heard that too?
I did it.
Oh. Heat 2, event 2, Masters Women. It's been a long day, and we're not even.
No.
Oh, no.
We're feeling great.
Oh, okay.
4 women in this heat. Holly Henderson, Caroline Kutz, Mackenzie Riley, Haley Murillo. Coming into this one, Caroline Kutz holds the overall lead. She had 100 points this morning. Holly Henderson, 3rd overall, 61 points. Mackenzie Riley, 5th overall, 48 points. And Haley Murillo, no points this morning, looking to make up for that here in the afternoon. And small field, performance-based scoring, big gaps as you see on the leaderboard. And there is an opportunity for someone like Murillo, who got a 0 early, to rebound with an impressive score here. Things we know about Haley Murillo, pretty good runner, pretty strong, and I don't think the GHDs are going to be too big of a problem for her, so I would expect a dramatically improved performance after struggling with the pegboard this morning.
Souza, is that gimbal going to last you all day, the battery on it?
I have it charging. I've had it charging the whole time. So it just, whenever you see the camera angle go crazy, it's because with one hand, I'm trying to switch my charger from the gimbal to my phone.
Gotcha. All right.
And then I unplug my headphones. So.
All right. The ladies are back in from their first 400-meter run. No one broke out. No one broke ahead in the run. Too early for any of that to happen.
Nope. About 1:45 on the run for everyone in this heat. We missed it earlier. This event is going to be going on the rest of the day for the individual Masters women, Masters men, individual men. And it's a rewritten version of the 2016 regional workout that had running on the air runner, GHD sit-ups, and barbell deadlifts, really heavy, 405 for the men and 275, I think, for the women. This one is running outside, 400 meters. It's twice around the building here. 30 GHD sit-ups every round, 7 flip sleds, 360 pounds for the women, 500 for the men.
There's a question from Monica with an accent over the O. Monica. Oh, she had 2 accents in her name. Any reason why the men's results from event 1 are still not up?
Tyler says that we've run them. We're just waiting to be entered into local comp.
So that's the reason. Now you know the reason. There is a reason, and now you know the reason.
Caroline Kutz with the early lead here. She's got a 1-rep lead on the flip sled over Holly Henderson, 2-rep lead over Mackenzie Riley, 3-rep lead over Haley Murillo. All the women working their way down the floor for the first time. 7 flip sleds, and then it's touch your pylon and out the door for round number 2.
John George, Brian Friend, best CrossFit commentator in the sport. Thanks to the entire Sevan team and Outcast, making my workday fun. Let's go. What's CM?
Should I know what Outcast is?
Best team and Outcast. And Outcast. I'm assuming, I thought it meant just the people who are on the Brian Friend, best CrossFit commentator in the sport. Thanks to the entire team, Sevan team and Outcast, making my workday fun. Let's go CM.
Well, either way.
Colton Mertens, yeah.
Either way, all of the women in heat number 2 are out the door after round number 1 under the 4-minute mark. Caroline Kutz, who's the overall leader of the competition currently, is the leader in this heat. Holly Henderson and second, Mackenzie Riley and Haley Murillo step for step out the door. 19-minute time cap here, so they're ahead of the pace needed to finish. The time that they're tracking down comes from Hannah Oakley in heat number 1 of 16:51. You see the line there on the ground with the 2 and the 3. That's the starting line. And then they have to pass by it once. They'll go around again, as you're going to see Caroline maybe see her do here. And the second time, they'll head back inside for more GHDs and flip sleds.
What does the 2-3 stand for?
So those are where lanes 2 and 3 start. They are the ones that don't have any extra distance to account for because they're straight shots in from the bay door. There's Haley Murillo. 1 lap to go for her in the second round.
Outcast, you have brought a lot of guys to the platform. That's what I meant by Outcast. Oh, good.
Absolutely, John. That's what we like to do. Caroline Klutz continuing to lead. She's back inside, getting set to go in her second round of 30 and 7. Holly Henderson coming in about 20 seconds behind Caroline.
How many days does the gym close to put this event on?
3.
It closes. Oh, just these 3. That's it. Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yep.
Wow.
Mackenzie Riley, 30 seconds behind Holly Henderson. She's coming in off of her second run. Haley Murillo, only about 50 feet behind Mackenzie. 6 minutes have just passed by out of the 19-minute time cap.
Is there an entry fee to watch this, Ryan?
Nope. Spectators can watch for free.
No shit. When I take my kid to a jiu-jitsu tournament, I have to pay, even though I paid $500 for my kids to compete there, I have to pay $30 to go inside. When clearly they can't go in by themselves. They're only 6 and 8.
10 for every kid.
10 what? Oh, I guess that's what. Well, if you go with 3 or 4 people in your family.
We can get a close-up of her hands here. She goes to an underhand grip and keeps an underhand grip until the sled is parallel before switching her hands and pushing it over. This is much closer to what I was doing yesterday. And it's the third different technique that we've seen from the top 3 women that we've seen in this event so far for the Masters women.
This technique is the most efficient if you can do it, hands down.
Because you don't have to rotate. Well, I don't know. I would say that Hannah Oakley's was pretty similar to this.
No, as opposed to doing the clean and shifting your position,
No, that was Jamie Latimer.
No, Jamie was actually moving her hands from one bar to another.
And Mackenzie Riley is doing the same thing that that Hannah Oakley in the first heat did. Let's take a look and see what Holly's doing. So she starts with the same grip as Caroline, pauses on her knee. That is the technique that I was doing yesterday. To use that momentum off the hip to drive it up, shift underneath, and push it over.
Yeah, that's basically you're doing a clean at this point.
Deadlift plus a little clean maneuver. Caroline Kutz out the door quickly, and will be nice tomorrow to have her and Hannah Oakley in the same heat as through 2 events. So far, they appear to be kind of closest to each other. Of course, be different things tested tomorrow. Hannah Oakley out the door as well. Holly Henderson out the door as well as 8 minutes pass on the clock. That's 2 rounds done for her. She's on pace for about a 16-minute finish, 19-minute time cap. Hannah Oakley's time of 16:51 is the time to beat. So both Caroline and Holly are ahead of that pace. Mackenzie Riley, even though she appears to be trailing those two, is also ahead of that pace at the halfway mark. But in a 4-round workout like this, usually the round times taper off a little bit as we go.
Hey, Brian, that the 2 of the techniques, the one that Jamie Latimer is using and the one that this lady's using here, it's
Haley.
It's basically a deadlift grip, and the other was an underhand grip, and you're never.
You have to Caroline Kutz is doing an underhand grip and maintaining that the whole way. I think that a lot of people that do the underhand grip might switch their hand position when they transition at the hip. What she's doing is efficient, but I also think that it demands a certain amount of mobility that not everyone has.
Right, I agree. And then maybe it could do some wear and tear to the bicep that you're not ready to give up.
That was an awesome shot right there. So Holly Henderson was passing by after her first lap, and 2 steps behind her, Caroline Kutz was heading in the door after her second lap. We know that at this point in the workout, that run takes about 2 minutes. So she should have about a 1-minute lead over Holly in the middle of round 3.
Who was it? Who's using the underhand grip? I don't think we'll see anyone else.
This
use
woman.
That. Oh, it is. Have you seen anyone else use it?
I just realized, Sevan. Do you have heat sheets in front of you at all?
I can.
You can?
I think.
Like if I sent them to you?
No, I think you have sent them to me.
I don't know about that. I'm going to send them to you now, though.
Okay.
This that I'm sending you is for the first one's for the women coming up and the Masters men, and then I'll send you the elite men later on. $30 GHD is done for Caroline Kutz as Holly Henderson gets to work on her set of 30. Mackenzie Riley coming in the door, and she's only going to be about 5 or 10 reps behind Holly there. So could have a close battle between Holly and Mackenzie for second in this heat. But Caroline Kutz continuing to move very efficiently on the flip sled. Halfway through those on a third of 4 rounds in event 2 on day 1 here from Spartanburg, South Carolina.
You live there now, huh?
I live in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's only about 90 minutes away. I thought you'd left for a second.
No, I'm here. Oh, well, I was looking. I'm just went to my see my emails to see if I got your.
I sent it as a text message.
Oh,
a picture.
Oh.
Just in that private thread that you have, the one that says long distance lover.
Yes. Oh, okay.
11:10 on the clock as Caroline Kutz heads out the door. 11:30 currently on the clock as Holly Henderson finishes up her GHDs. Mackenzie Riley trying to close that gap down. They're currently second and third in the heat. Haley Murillo also on the GHD sit-ups, but currently fourth in the heat. 1 flip sled done for Henderson as Mackenzie Riley straps up. So it's going to be about a 1 flip sled difference between those two at this point.
Oh, yeah. I need these sheets so I can print them out before. This would be awesome.
When they reseed tonight for tomorrow, I'll see if we can email you a copy.
Okay, then I won't have to say that girl.
Yeah.
I still will do that, though, I'm sure. I know who that is. That's Ashley McKenzie.
Mackenzie Riley.
Damn. Mackenzie Riley.
And she's now overtaken Holly Henderson. When Holly finishes this, they'll both be 4 sled flips down, 3 to go. We're at the 12-minute, 20-second mark. There's a 19-minute time cap. These last 3 flips will be the last part of the round 3. Haley Murillo is on the flip sled, and she's flipping actually with a much faster cadence than both of the women ahead of her. Of course, she's only done 2 compared to their 5 and 6. But Haley Murillo is now closing in on Henderson. And we seem to have a bit of a 3-athlete race here for the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th spot in the 2nd heat of Masters Women. Riley's now 2nd overall. She's outside the door at 12:50. So Caroline Kutz running away with this heat. Ultimately, everyone's still chasing 16:51 from Hannah Oakley in the first heat. But Riley has passed Henderson, and Murillo is now within 2 flips of her. That's her husband, Josh Murillo, with their baby there in the background cheering her on. Henderson out the door about 10, maybe 15 seconds ahead of Murillo. So Klutz is back inside. And she's got 3 minutes and 20 seconds to chase down Holly Henderson's time. That should not be an issue. So she's likely going to have another 100 points to her name. The other 3 are out on the run. And it's going to be a little bit of a battle. Mackenzie and Haley both made a move relative to Holly in round 3. We'll see whether that pays off in the final round.
Dude, Sousa's putting in the crazy work. So this girl's in the lead here, all by herself, way out ahead.
She's in the lead. She got 100 points this morning because of her margin of victory. That secured her almost 14 points against Hannah Oakley. Hannah Oakley currently has the time to beat from heat number 1. That was 16:51. There's currently only 14:31 on the clock by the time she starts this flip sled. So she's going to have another win. The question is by how much, and also how much that's going to earn her in terms of a point separation from whoever ends up being second in this event.
So this is it with this pig flip. She doesn't have to go out and run again?
Correct. 5 more flips to go. Now 4. And once again, we're going to take note of this time. She would have been second against the entire elite women's individual field. She has never competed as an individual prior to this weekend. She's only competed on the Grit House team. So I've told you already today that I believe, absent of an injury from Kevin Steinhaus, would have been inside the top 10 at the CrossFit Games this year. So she is very, very good. We just don't know how good. 15:11. That's the time that we're going to mark down and see how that will fare against the individual field over the next couple hours. Mackenzie Riley maintains her lead over Holly Henderson. She's got about a 7-rep GHD lead, GHD sit-up lead over her. 15:30 on the clock. Both women should have no problem finishing underneath the cap. It's just a matter of what kind of separation is going to come between them. Haley Murillo is back inside the building. So all 3 women will be working on their final set of 30 GHDs before going to the flip sled for the last time.
I need a case of rain.
Want me to ask JR if you can overnight you some?
How much coffee have you had to drink today, Brian?
Probably the equivalent of 1 cup.
No shit. Wow.
Mackenzie Riley done with her GHDs at the 16:15 mark. She's strapping up as she heads back down the floor for her final 7 flip sleds. The time that she's chasing from the previous heat is 16:51. That's Hannah Oakley. That is unlikely. It usually takes about 10 seconds per rep, so she's probably going to be somewhere between Oakley and Latimer, who came at 17:50. Holly Henderson's off her GHD. She's heading back down the floor. Mackenzie Riley will have had 3, maybe 4 of the flip sleds done before that, so it's unlikely Henderson will catch Riley. The question is where they're going to fall relative to both Oakley and Latimer and Marino from the earlier heat. 3 flips to go for Mackenzie. 1 flip in the books for Holly. She's got 6 left. 2 more for Riley. Murillo running down the floor, and Henderson's only 2 flips ahead of her. We saw Murillo attack the flip slide in round number 3. It's going to be tight, I think, between 3 and 4. Riley's got 1 to go. Oakley's time's good for second place overall at 16:51. Riley's last flip here is going to give her 3rd place at 17:25.
Oh, she's going for it.
17:58 was the time from Latimer. Currently, there's 17:32 on the clock. Murillo is at 1 flip behind Henderson here. 1 to go for Henderson. 2 to go for Murillo. 18 seconds until Latimer's time. Henderson, 17:45. Murillo, 17:51. Latimer will be 17:58. And then Marino and Fritt will be on the other side of that. So from the performance scoring point of view, Kutz will get 100. Oakley's going to get a bunch. 4 scores are going to be tight in the middle. Marino will not get very many points at all. And Amy Fritt is flirting with possibly a 0.
What's the girl's name again who finished at the end? Marino?
Marino was third in the first heat. So
Who's this? Who's this right
month.
here? Murillo? What's this
Haley
girl's name?
Murillo.
Haley Murillo. That's Haley Adams' coach?
Haley and Josh Murillo are the ones that we were talking about as potentially being her coach. I don't know how much truth there is to that, but yes,
Right.
That's who we were talking about.
Yeah. I met these people at street parking. Good people. Wow, look
Great-
at her
great
all
people.
the way out. So she came. Is she the farthest traveled
There are, possibly, yes.
to compete at Crucible?
I mean, James Sprague came from, Washington, Idaho, which is probably very similar distance.
She's from LA.
I know, but when you consider that that's straight across the country compared to the angle up to the northwest, it's probably
All
not
right.
much different.
All right, fair enough.
And their total travel time was probably similar to someone like Colton Mertens, who drove here from rural Iowa.
How about is James Sprague living in Idaho now permanently? Is that home for him?
His family's from there. I'm not sure I think he would call that home, yes. But I don't think that he'll live there all 12 months of the year. I don't know that for sure, though.
Okay, so the individual athletes are coming out of the corral. This is heat 1 of the individual athletes. Masters is over.
Correct.
Dang, great shot, Souza. Souza's on it.
Tyler is inputting scores for the Masters. We'll get those updated at the end of day 1 for you eventually when he finishes doing that. Or actually, we could pull up the leaderboard for women after one event if you want. Let's take a look and see where these 6 women are sitting after one event, because as we know, the overall leader is coming out of heat 2, so there could be all over the place.
Hey, let me ask you this. When this is over, then the men go.
Yes.
And then is it over?
Yes.
I could go to bed after that?
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing.
It'll be like 4:30 p.m. at the latest.
My time?
Yes.
Oh, that sucks. I'm ready for bed. You know when you get up too early in the morning, your head's kind of doing like that throbbing thing? It starts like just something's not right. I'm like in that phase.
Do you have the women's leaderboard available somewhere that I can see?
I was just ignoring you. Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Women's leaderboard, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. I don't have the official one. I have the spreadsheet one.
Spreadsheet one works. You do have access to the official one if you want it.
And here it comes. I hope this is the right page I'm sharing.
Correct.
Is this-
So, yeah. So if we look here, I believe Sienna Wilkening, who's in lane 6 of heat 1, is currently in 6th overall, and she's the highest placing amongst the women in this heat. She's the only one, I think, from this heat that's showing up in the top 10 or top 11. Let's scroll down a little bit. Scroll down so we can see like 12 through whatever. Okay, that's perfect. Callista Schaffner, 22nd. Emily Meyer is in 21st.
They didn't reseed them yet?
No.
They do that tomorrow? Okay.
Celine Gomez is in 19th. And if you scroll down even further, I think you'll see Mariah and Grace. Yep. They were amongst several athletes who got 0 on the first event this morning. Okay, so we have Sienna Wilkening. Great performance, 6th place this morning. She's in lane 6. We'll see if she's able to back that up with another solid performance here in the second event of the day. The women have started. They're out on the run. 1 minute has already elapsed in the working time. There's a 19-minute time cap here. It's the same exact event that the Masters women just did. If you missed that, this is 4 rounds of 400 meters of running, 30 GHD sit-ups, and 7 flip sleds with 360 pounds. It's a rewritten workout from the 2016 regionals that involved running on the air runner, GHD sit-ups, and barbell deadlifts at 275.
And if you don't know, now you know.
Lane 4, Grace Lochner, back inside the building at first.
Dude, she took quite a lead for just one lap.
Correct, and she didn't start in the furthest position forward either. Second inside the building is Emily Meyer. Sienna Wilkening, who's currently 6th overall, who comes in the 3rd position right alongside Celine Gonzalez in lane number 3. And this is pretty dramatic gap in terms of speed on the run, as Calista Schaffner and Mariah Burkhead are both inside and getting ready to start on their GHD sit-ups in the first round. 2 minutes and 10 seconds have now elapsed.
Pretty simple rules to counting reps for the GHD. You just got to touch the mat below you and then touch the pad in front of you.
Exactly. Grace Lochner first in from the run, first on with the GHDs. Yes, I told you she was practicing these flip sleds yesterday with James Sprague under the coaching of James Sprague. So let's see if the practice paid off. So she's got that technique of getting it to the hip and then using the momentum to get it the rest of the way. Emily Meyer in lane number 1. Doing
That's the first.
Very similar.
That's the first fail I've seen, by the way.
And it also fell at an angle, so she's repositioning to make sure that it stays inside her lane, which the athletes are responsible to do. Now, Celine Gonzalez in the gray and black there, 5 foot, 100 pounds. And this thing weighs 360 pounds. All 6 women are working on their flip sled. Grace Lochner was the first to it, but almost everyone in the field has passed her by now. Your current heat leader is Emily Meyer. And in terms of the overall competition after one event, we're keeping an eye on Sienna Wilkening, who comes into this one 6th place overall. Emily Meyer out the door at the 4-minute mark. She's the youngest competing athlete on the women's side, 17 years old. She moved that flip sled extremely well. 4 minutes is a great split time for 1 round out of 4 here. In the black pants there is Mariah Burkhead. On the far side is Calista Schaffner. They were the last 2 in off the run, but they passed 3 of the 4 women that were, quite frankly, considerably ahead of them, in large thanks to their ability to move the flip sled well. Sienna Wilkening done there in the background. She'll head out the door for her second run at the 4:35 mark. Celine Gonzalez in the foreground working on her last flip sled. Well done, Celine. She's out the door at the 4:45. And Grace Lochner, who is first off the run, first off the GHD, is going to fall all the way back to last on the flip sled here. She's got 1 more to go.
Hold on. Let me write this down. Need a clock on screen. Got it. Thank you.
I'm just going to tell you guys that might be, we might be able to do that, but it might also be one of the more challenging things that you guys have asked for. The synchronization that's required to do that with the broadcast is quite specific. I think we can make it happen, but it's not as simple as it sounds.
We can try to tell you the time more, or Brian can try with the other 50 things he's trying to remember, because he can see an actual clock there. Yeah, I get it. The clock is important. Knowing who's in what place, knowing the athletes' names, all the shit that I don't know is pretty important.
I think that the HCAM might have a clock in screen. Emily Meyer back inside after her second 400-meter run, and she's looking smooth. We saw a couple of the other athletes passing by for their second lap as she was making the left turn into the building. 6 minutes and 10 seconds have elapsed at this point. She's working on her second set of 30 GHD sit-ups.
So this is the leader right here?
Heat leader, Emily Meyer, yes.
Let me see where she's currently sitting.
Should be somewhere around 21, 22, something like that. Sienna
Yeah,
Wilkening back
you nailed it.
inside, right alongside Callista Schaffner, Mariah Burkhead, and Celine Gonzalez. So Emily Meyer has about a 40-second lead over the rest of the field. Grace Lochner, once again, excellent on the run, and she's closed the gap that she had given away on the flip sled.
Are there multiple synchronized clocks in the facility, Brian?
It's just that one.
Just that one, okay.
It's very easy to see it from pretty much everywhere.
Right.
Emily Meyer heading back to her flip sled for the second time. 7 minutes, 20 seconds has passed. 7 flip sleds to go in this round, which will put her at the halfway point of the 4-round event. As Emily Meyer's working her way through the flip sleds in this round, most of the rest of the women are all within 2 reps of each other on the GHD Sit. Callista Schaffner leading the charge back down. Celine Gonzalez, Sienna Wilkening, Mariah Burkhead, all step for step with her as they start in on their second set of 7 flip sleds. Grace Lochner also done with the GHDs, and she'll join those group of 4 women at the sled. 1 flip to go for Meyer. Schaffner 1 flip ahead of Burkhead, Gonzalez, and Wilkening. .835 at the halfway point for Emily Meyer as she heads out the door, loses the top. She's got 2 rounds to go.
What was the fastest time on this workout?
Well, this is heat 1 for this division, but 15:11 from Caroline Kutz was the best time amongst the Masters women.
And she had the second fastest time on the first workout?
Correct.
And you were saying this is the Caroline Klutz, this is the first time she's competed as an individual?
Correct.
Whew.
Callista Schaffner, last flip done, so she'll be out at the 9:13 mark. 9:14, Mariah Burkhead finishes. Wilkening 1 to go, Gonzalez 2 to go. So leader Meyer, and then basically dead heat between Burkhead and Schaffner as they head out the door, arm in arm. There's Wilkening, currently 6th place overall after first event this morning. She's done with her second round at the 9:30 mark. 19 minutes is the time cap, so she's got less than 10 minutes to go to get 2 rounds in. Grace Lochner readjusting her flip sled to keep it inside the lane there as Celine Gonzalez finishes round number 2 at the 9:50 mark, and she's heading out the door for her 3rd run.
If you flip it over and it doesn't stay in your lane, it's a no rep. You got to take it back.
Ask me that again.
If you flip it over and it lands outside your lane, crosses that line, do you have to take it back? Is that why the athletes are being so careful about that?
I think you get credit for the rep, but you have to readjust it so it's back inside your lane.
Gotcha.
So at that point, she's resting anyway, so she's just readjusting it to set it up for the next one.
Is there music playing there, Brian?
Yeah, but it's not that loud.
Yeah, I was gonna say because I can't even hear it.
No, it's actually like, I would say I think it's a much better ambience for a competition than most competitions have, where the music is a lot of times too loud, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Most places I go where there's music, it's too loud.
Emily Meyer back inside, 11 minutes and 10 seconds have elapsed, 19 minute on the time cap here. She's got 30 more GHDs and 7 flip sleds in this round, and then 1 more round to go. Sienna Wilkening has overtaken Schaffner and Burkhead on this third run. Schaffner and Burkhead really, really looking good on the flip sled. They are two of the bigger and stronger athletes in the field. Wilkening proving to have a more decent, well-rounded and aerobic base as she's able to make about 20 seconds on that third run.
Look at Caleb. Heat 1, Elite Women. Nice. Is nice.
Celine Gonzalez back from her run. So 5 of the 6 athletes have 3 runs in the books. As Celine comes in, Emily Meyer finishing up with her third set of GHDs. She'll set in on this third round of flip sleds. 7 flip sleds in every round.
Dang.
Emily Meyer all alone on the flip side here. 3 down, 4 to go. Grace Lochner's come back in from her run. So the other 5 women are all somewhere in those GHD sit-ups. Wilkening just finishing those 30. She'll start on the flip sled. Mariah Burkhead and Krista Schaffner with less than 5 reps to go. So Meyer's slowing down a little bit. She's taking a look over her shoulder. She sees Wilkening closing the gap. It's a little deceiving. Obviously, it's a big effort for every one of these reps, but we have seen athletes be able to close 1 or 2 reps as some of the leaders fatigue when the flip sleds come up in the later rounds.
How many heats, Brian? 5 or 6?
5.
So this is heat 1 of 5 heats for event 2.
Correct.
Ooh. 19-minute time cap. 1 minute transition.
Yes, something like that. Emily Meyer out the door. 13:52 has elapsed. She got 5 minutes and change if she wants to get done inside the time cap. Wilkening is within 3 reps of her now. Schaffner and Burkhead, as they have been throughout, are moving well on the flip sled, but they've given away their position to Wilkening, who quite frankly has had a pretty good opening first day. She's out the door about 30 seconds behind the leader, Emily Meyer, who's been leading this heat from the start. Burkhead 1 rep to go. Schaffner working on her second to last rep. Schaffner in the yellow, Burkhead in the foreground on the left with the black leggings. And Burkhead's done, so she'll head out on her final run with 4.5 minutes to the time cap. Schaffner done about 10 seconds after Burkhead. Celine Gonzalez, the next athlete working on the middle of the floor. She's got 3 flips to go. And Grace Lochner, who you see there in the brown, with 1 out of 7 flip sleds down in round number 3.
How can the best camera footage be from the wireless one when we spent all this energy getting the other cameras wired?
Who are you asking?
I don't know. God.
Well, let me know when he gets back to you.
All right.
1 flip to go for Gonzalez. 5 to go for Lochner. This is round 3 of 4, event 2 of 2 for day 1 of competition. Heat 1 of 5 for the elite women's field. Celine out the door, 15:30 on the clock. So she'll get the run done and likely the GHDs. I'm expecting it will not be finishing the flip sleds.
How about that guy adjusting her sled? The no rep guy.
Someone no rep him. Grace Lochner working on her flip sleds in round number 3. We have just over 3 minutes to go in the time cap, and we should be looking for Emily Meyer, who's the youngest athlete in the elite women's field, who's leading this heat currently, to be coming back in the door shortly. Just to put it in perspective, Caroline Kutz finished over 1 minute ago.
Wow. That time's going to stick.
I don't think so.
No?
I think it'll stick as terms of being one of the best. I don't know if it'll be the best. Now we have a little bit of a race on our hand. Emily Meyer with 5 GHDs done as Wilkening comes racing into the building. And while Meyer seemed to be fading in that last round and transitioning to the 4th run, Wilkening seems to be picking up momentum.
Who do you think? Ariel Sanders again?
We'll see. She looked very impressive this morning. But if you were asking me to pick one woman
Yeah.
from any heat to
Oh, I
win
know.
this particular, what?
Go ahead. This is my girl. This is Hannah's workout.
We'll have to see about the running. And the same thing can be said for many of the strong ladies in this field. Caroline Kutz is quite strong and a very good runner. I think for the, and I don't know. I don't think Hannah Black wins this one. I think there's a few other women that have a better chance of looking at. Man, Harvang, maybe Fisher, B. Roth, maybe. All right, Meyer is done. Hand in the air for Wilkening. 90 seconds to go. It's going to come down to a race on the flip sled. Wilkening is working her way back down the floor. She's one rep behind Meyer. Meyer moving with urgency that we did not see in the last round. That's 2 reps done. Celine Gonzalez can sprinting in. She knows that she's got a minute and 10 seconds to get as many of those 30 GHDs done as she can do. Both Schaffner and Burkhead are ripping away on the GHDs. Wilkening and Meyer in a flip sled race with 1 minute to go. Both of them chasing down the time cap, not to mention each other. The 1 rep lead that Meyer had over Wilkening has been maintained, and neither woman is slowing down. Wilkening has closed the gap by about half a flip, but it's not going to be enough. Meyer gets it up and over for the last one. 18:27 for Meyer. Wilkening on her last push. 18:32. 18:27, 18:32. Burkhead working on her flip sleds, and she's cruising here with 3 done in about 15 seconds, but she's only got 15 seconds to the time cap. Grace Lochner comes racing back in to try to get some GHDs. Schnaufner's going to get 1 flip sled done. That's 5 for Burkhead. Celine Gonzalez attempting to get 1 before the time cap. And it looks like, I'm not sure what the ruling is on if it has to be off the ground or hit the ground on the other side, but a great fight to the finish by all of the women here in Heat 1.
I fell asleep and Brian left. You want to see where Brian was sitting? Look at. Thanks, Joe. Feels like it's been going on for 3 days already. Need to get an extra hour of sleep tomorrow. Brian and Susan are just killing it. Hiller's killing it. Oh my God, that almost looked like that sled was ghost riding. Two heats. Was that 2 heats or is that the first heat? That's the first heat. My God. Thank you, Caleb. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We are at the Crucible at CrossFit Crash in Spartanburg, South Carolina. This is the 4th year of the Crash Crucible, sister workout to the Crash Crescendo, which is for teams only, which happens at the other end of the year. We are day 1 of 3 days. People from all levels, teams, masters, and the elite here. We're about to start our 2nd heat for the elite women. This will be the last time they work out today. Brian, go ahead, Brian.
A shot of the staggered start there. So in the background are lanes 2 and 3. That's AJ Hutchinson and Lindsay Derby. Lane 1, Sydney Vaskovitz is in front. In the blue pants is lane 4, Lexi Colabianchi. Ariel Saunders right there in the blue shorts, black sports bra is in lane number 5. And lane 6, Reed Dunbar, who will have the most distance to make up inside, gets to start furthest ahead. Ariel Saunders is coming in as the winner of event 1 this morning. Can we pull up the leaderboard while they're running in this first round?
And she looked smooth too. She looked really smooth in that victory. It didn't even look like it was. It didn't look like it broke her.
No, not at all. Very impressive combination of pegboard and yoke carry. So Ariel Saunders, as we see, overall leader there. Lindsay Derby is in this heat. She comes in 7th overall. Sydney Moskovitz is in this heat. She comes in 13th overall. So this is only heat 2, but 3 of the top 13 are in this heat. So we'll keep an eye and see if they're able to kind of continue what was a great start to the day. And if we scroll down to the bottom half of the field, we can see where the other 3 were. I think there were a few zeros amongst these, which is okay. Plenty of opportunity to correct that. AJ Hutchinson coming in 23rd, last place amongst the women who earned points, but there were 5 or 6 women that did not get points this morning. We've been having Tyler Watkins come on to explain the performance-based scoring system. If you've missed it, basically the first place score and the median score, so the middle score, are the 2 relevant data points. You take the difference between those 2, and in a performance-based scoring, that's going to be 50 points from 100 to 50. And then on the flip side, the same amount of elapsed time or work will go from 50 to 0. And if you're further away from the median than the leader was, then you're going to get a 0. That's the simplest way I can explain it.
But don't worry, it's good.
As the weekend unfolds, we'll be able to see some storylines progress as athletes capitalize on certain events, take big hits on other, and we'll see some athletes that are really close to the middle across the board, and we'll be able to kind of see how that plays out. I think that eventually we might put it up against the points per place scoring system just for comparison's sake towards the end of the weekend. All of the women are back inside after their first run, working their way through 30 GHD sit-ups. This is a 4-round workout, 400-meter run, 30 GHDs, 7 flip sleds, 360 pounds on the sled. This is a revamped version of a 2016 regionals workout. This is the retour from Crash Crucible 2023. JR's taken regional and games workouts from years past for both teams and individuals, rewritten them to up the ante a little bit and challenge the athletes of the modern day. That was Ariel Saunders, your current overall leader for the entire elite women's division, who's first off the GHD. Very efficient here with the sled through the first couple flips. 3 sled flips in the books before anyone else gets their hands on it.
She's crushing.
We mentioned throughout the broadcast already that the Masters athletes are doing the exact same workouts as the individual elite divisions. Ariel Saunders was the only athlete this morning to beat Caroline Kutz on event 1. Caroline Kutz had the fastest time for the Masters at 15:11 in event 2. Ariel's out the door at 3:25. We extrapolate the times a little bit. That is ahead of the split time that's required, but in a 4-round workout, we do expect the split times per round to taper off for almost every athlete. The rest of the 5 women in this heat are very close, all within 2 flip sleds. In lane number 6 off camera, Bree Dunbar is going to be second out the door. In lane number 1 and 2, Sydney Moskovich and AJ Hutchinson have 1 flip left. Lexi Colabianchi in lane 4 has 1 flip left. And Lindsay Derby, in lane number 3 is now also having 1 flip left. So 5 of the 6 are out the door, 1 flip remaining for Lindsay Derby. And then we'll be done with round number 1 of 4 on event 2 for heat 2 of the elite women. Each 400-meter run consists of 2 laps around the building. So if we have a camera out there working, we might be able to see them pass by once. They'll pass by a second time, head back inside. They always have to touch their lane marker, their pylon, on the way in and out, and that's to ensure that no one's cutting corners across whether they're on their way in or out. There's Bree Dunbar. Half of her second run is in the book. She's currently second place in this heat behind Ariel Saunders. Sydney Moskovitz, halfway done with her second run. AJ Hutchinson, right behind Moskovitz. There is Ariel Saunders. She's going to be heading back in as Lexi heads out on her second run. Touch the pylon and make her way back down for 30 GHDs and 7 flip sleds in round 2.
Well, this bodes well for her because now we have a data point that this girl can run.
This bodes very well for her, and quite frankly, I am starting to wonder just how well she can do over the course of the entire competition. Now, there is a lot of skill work required later in this competition, but what we've seen through 1.5 events is very, very impressive for someone who's mostly off my radar in Ariel. Just to give some information on her, 29 years old. She competes at CrossFit Identity. She actually she did 520th worldwide in the Open, 410th quarterfinals. Did not compete at semifinals. This is her first time at Crucible. And as far as data points from previous competitions, we're drawing from a database that has over 235 competitions in it. We have no information on her.
Wow. How old is she? 29?
Yep. Cruising down the floor, 6 minutes and 45 seconds has elapsed. She's got 7 flip sleds to go. This is the second one that we're seeing here. Takes about 8 seconds for her to do 1 rep, it looks like. So she's likely going to be out the door around the 7:20 or 7:30 minute mark. If you're able to match that, that's going to be very close to that 14:45 to 15:15 range, which is exactly where we saw Caroline Kutz.
So here we go. Patrick Clark, thank you. Ariel Sanders, not unfamiliar with the Pain Cave and clearly has an engine. My first thought was, wow, did she come out too hot? But Patrick Clark says Ariel Sanders was on the University of Michigan rowing team.
And I'm just going to say this because I don't know if everyone realizes. Patrick Clark knows as much or more about unknown or up-and-coming athletes in this sport as almost anyone that I've ever been around. There's a reason that he was on the sports team at the Morning Chalk-Up. There's a reason that he works to Be Friendly Fitness. He's an incredible resource, and I think is often underutilized in that regard.
Yeah, I would nominate him as having the most valuable comments in the chat.
Ariel out the door, right around that 7:30 mark, like we thought. Bree Dunbar making quick work of her flip sled. She's fending off Moskovitz and Hutchinson in lanes 1 and 2. And the other 2 athletes, Lindsay Derby, Lexi Kolobianchi, also heading to the flip sled. So it's Ariel Saunders, then Bree Dunbar, then a couple of close battles between the other 4 women in the heat.
Renji, hello. Not sure if you explained this already, but what the fuck is going on with the scoreboard? Basically, the scoreboard works like this. All the scores are relative to one another. So if you did great and the second place person didn't do great, you get rewarded for that. You're rewarded for the distance you put in between yourself and the other jackasses behind you. And so basically, it sort of stays true to the chart. It stays more true to the charter of what CrossFit is as a methodology and brings that into the sport where you're rewarded for the intensity. As opposed to just because you took second place, you can't game it. And just make sure you beat the third place person. You better really try to stay close to the first place person because every second truly does count. Does that help? And we can get into, we will have Tyler Watkins on throughout the weekend to explain what the equation is that allows them to do that. But it's nothing too complicated. You're welcome.
5 out of the 6 women are out the door on their 3rd run in this 4-round workout. It's the second event they've taken on today. This is the second of 5 heats for the elite individual women. That's Lindsay Derby on your screen. She's in the back of the pack as the heat is concerned, but 1 flip sled away from finishing up her second of 4 rounds and heading back out for another run.
I don't understand this camera situation at all.
Derby done as Ariel Sanders heads back inside after her 3rd run, and we're just about at the 10-minute mark. There's Ariel in the blue and black. She was the winner of event 1 this morning, and she's leading her heat here in event 2 this afternoon.
It's crazy that she won event 1 from heat 2, and now it looks like she is going to have the score to beat clearly from heat. What heat is this again?
Heat 2 of 5. Bree Dunbar is back inside. She's about to join her on the GHDs in the foreground, purple pants.
Yeah, if she wins this, this is gonna make a big statement after day one. Kenneth DeLab, why do some people get a pad under the gut? Oh, under the GHD. Don't they all want to reach down and touch? Don't they all get it? It looks like they all have it. Is that what you're referencing? Shorten the distance to touching the ground?
I think all the women get that 6-inch riser. I have not seen any woman that hasn't had that riser. No problem on the GHGs for Ariel, working on the flip sleds for the third time. Likely going to be finishing this right about the 12-minute mark. That puts her more on pace for a 16 minutes, which would still be 2.5 minutes better than Emily Meyer, but it is falling off the pace, the impressive pace that we saw from Caroline Kutz in the Masters division.
And Klutz's time was 14:31.
15:11.
15:11.
One more flip for Ariel. 12 minutes has passed by, so it's looking definitely not going to chase down Klutz's time, but she is well on pace to set the time to beat. However, Bree Dunbar is closing the gap every round. I don't know that it'll be enough, but this is an impressive performance from Bree. And Bree Dunbar might end up being one of our really good case studies on day one. She took a 0 this morning, just got hung up on the pegboard, but here's a running GHD and heavy odd object implement, and she's setting up to have potentially a really good score on this one. 12:45 has elapsed. Both Ariel and Bree Dunbar are out the door for their final run. Sydney Moskovitz putting a little bit of ground between herself and AJ Hutchinson in lane 1 and 2. Sydney Moskovitz had a 13th place finish this morning, and she's got a 3-flip sled lead on Hutchinson. They had been mostly neck for neck up to this point, and then Derby and Colabianchi working on their GHDs in the third round.
Stutter is significant.
One flip to go for Moskovitz. She's done with round 3, 13:45 on the clock. 2 flips to go for Hutchinson. Colabianchi is working on her flip sled. She's got 3 out of 7 done. And Lindsay Derby just finished up her GHD sit-ups, and she's heading to the flip sled as well. Last flip for Hutchinson, and she went into a full squat, and I mean full squat, to get that one off the ground before heading out for her final run. 14 minutes, 15 seconds gone. Less than 5 minutes to go to the time cap. So everyone who's out the door already has a good chance of finishing this underneath the 19-minute time cap. The time that everyone's chasing is Emily Meyer, 18:27. Santa Wilkinson, 18:32. So very close times. The leaders, Ariel Saunders and Bree Dunbar, should have no problem with that. The rest of the heat are going to be looking at those times as potential times to beat. Ariel, all right on cue, back inside at the 14:45 mark. Probably, given how things have been going for her, 2 to 2.5 minutes of work remaining. So we're going to be looking something in the 16:45 range, 17 minutes as the new time to beat. Dunbar, however, is only going to be 4 or 5 GHD sit-ups behind Ariel Saunders here. She's been chipping away at this lead round by round.
I would be freaked out if I was Brian trusting the but you can see the mute. Oh, okay.
What?
I was just like, I'd be freaked out if I was talking. I wouldn't trust that my headphones were muted. I would take them off. But you can actually see that it's muted when you do it.
Yep, and I know the screen's kind of frozen there, so I'll try to give you guys the update of what's going on. Ariel Saunders finished up her GHDs. Last rep for Bree Dunbar on her GHDs. So it's going to be a 1, maybe 2 rep lead on the flip sled. 16 minutes and 15 seconds have elapsed. 2 flip sleds done for Saunders, while Dunbar's still making her way back down the floor. She took a big break after the GHDs. Sanders with a 3 rep lead, 16:30 on the clock. Both of them 2 minutes to go to the time to beat. But there are 3 more heats coming up after this, so getting a good time on the board early, definitely in the interest of your overall leader, Ariel Sanders, and Bree Dunbar, who came in with 0 points after event 1 and is looking to make a big change to that in event number 2. Saunders gets it done 16:51, exactly the same time as Hannah Oakley, who was second place for the Masters women earlier on the same event. Bree Dunbar, 1 more flip to go. 17 minutes has just passed by. Andrew Hiller working on the back end to bring the feedback up for us. Thank you, Andrew. 17:07 for Bree Dunbar. Excellent. 1 minute and 20 seconds ahead of the previous time to beat. Sydney Moskowitz, AJ Hutchinson in lanes 1 and 2 working on their last set of 30 GHDs. We still have 90 seconds to the cap. We're looking at about a minute until the 2 times that finished under the cap in heat 1.
Dennis Olari, thank you for the great coverage, guys. Thank you, everyone. Thank you from Dennis. You're welcome.
Sydney Moskowitz off the GHD, 1 minute and 15 seconds to go. 7-6 now flip sleds to go. She should have time to do it, but 18:27 and 18:32 are times that we're looking at from heat number 1. Hutchinson off the GHD. You're going to see her running down the floor towards her flip sled with less than a minute to go to see if she can get as many flips in as possible. 3 to go for Moskowitz. 13th this morning in event 1. 2 flip sleds to go. 12 and 17 seconds until those times to beat. 40 seconds until the time cap. 1 sled to go. Myers' time is good at 18:27. Moskowitz in at 18:29. Wilkening at 18:32 has passed. 25 seconds to the time cap. Hutchinson with 2 out of 7 sleds done. Colabianchi done with 30 GHDs. Lindsay Derby inside ripping away at her GHDs with 15 seconds to go. Hutchinson going for 1 final flip sled and 10 seconds to go. She gets her 3rd one done. Colabianchi straight to the flip sled. She's going to get 1 in. 2 seconds, 1 second, time. Hutchinson with the final rep. Colabianchi got 1. Derby several GHD sit-ups. And Ariel Saunders, winner of event 1 this morning in current time to beat through 2 heats at 16:51. Also phenomenal performance by Bree Dunbar and a good finish underneath the cap by Sydney Moskowitz, who had a solid 13th this morning.
And Ariel Sanders, even 2 minutes after she finished, the winner of this heat, still just sitting there, letting us know she emptied the tank. Is there any reason to save anything, Brian? Save anything in the tank?
I don't think so. I mean, it's 3:30 in the afternoon here. They're done for the day. They have all night to rest, recover, do body work, get a massage, hot tub, cold sauna. There's cold plunges here for them. They can do Normatex, get whatever they want. Massages are on site. Get a good meal, get a great night's sleep before getting back after it tomorrow. So I think given the nature of the layout of the competition, given the scoring system, I think that there's every opportunity to give everything you got here at the event end of day number 1.
Cave Dastro, that chick is ripped. Jeez Louise. She was. Definitely.
I think he meant to spell that as cheese. C-H, not G.
Cheese Louise. Wow. What the? How?
Holy shit. How did that just happen?
Souza, you need to stay by JR and count us in when he counts the athletes in so that Caleb can hear you. That's the only way this is going to work. I think he just said 30 seconds. Souza, you should be able to hear JR say 10 seconds and then give us a 3, 2, 1, go.
This is crazy. This is wild.
10 seconds. 3, 2, 1, go.
How'd you do that? Beaver, how'd you do that,
Beautiful.
Caleb?
Beautiful. Caleb Souza, excellent work there.
Where
Will
did you
gave
bring-
me. I used a share screen and just Will taught me how to do it.
Dang.
Will did have a sly grin on his face. He's literally right here.
Hey, do you think that that's going to affect our picture quality by running an extra share cam? Okay. All right.
All right, we got heat 3 of women. Sevan, let's pull up that leaderboard again and take a look at where some of these women are after this morning's event. I know Lindsay Lane is in this one. She ended up having a costly no rep that might have cost her the win this morning, but this is going to be, she's still coming in with 4th place overall, I believe. Holy cow, you're putting a lot of demand on me there. Madeline Helms is in this heat. She's 8th place overall. Let's scroll down a little bit for me. Brianna Wallen, 12th overall. She'll be in lane number 2. Keep going. Oh, you know what? Go back to the top. Is Daniel Dunlap up there?
Yes, 3rd place.
Daniel Dunlap is in lane 6. So we have Dunlap, who's in 3rd overall in lane 6. Lane, who's in 5th overall in lane 1. Wallen, Helms, who's in 8th overall. She'll be in lane 4. Brianna Wallen is in 12th overall. She'll be in lane 2. And then down at the bottom should be Annalise Moore at 20th, and Ellie Hiller, who got a 0 this morning. First 2 athletes back in are Ellie Hiller in lane 5 and Lindsay Lane in lane number 1. Ellie Hiller, remember, was 3rd place at this competition last year, and she had 4 finishes in a Z-score scoring last year where she scored 90 or more points. One of those was on a swim, but there's certainly plenty of things that she's very good at, and she just had an unfortunate hiccup on the pegboard this morning. All 6 women are back inside at the 2-minute mark working on their GHD sit-ups. This is heat 3 of 5 for the elite women's individual competition at Crash Crucible. This is the retour. Every workout that these athletes are doing is a rewritten version of a previous CrossFit Games regional or CrossFit Games event, both the teams and the individuals. JR has rewritten a workout from the 2016 regionals that had running, GHD sit-ups and deadlifts. Here we're running outside instead of on the air runners. GHDs remain the same, and flip sled instead of the heavy deadlifts on the barbell. Ellie Hiller, lane number 5 with the orange top there. First one with the GHD. On the far side of the screen, Lindsay Lane, who's 5th place overall after this morning, 2nd off the GHD. The rest of the women are all within 5 reps. Lane number 6, Daniel Dunlap, who's currently in 3rd place overall, and lane number 4, Madeline Helms, currently 8th place overall, are getting their first rep done at the same time. And in lanes 2 and 3, Brianna Wallen and Annalise Moore, their rep for rep, 1 rep behind Dunlap and Helms. Lane has caught up to Hiller. They're both working on their 6 of 7 flip sleds. They came in after the run at the same time. But Ellie Hiller got a little bit of advantage due to the distance she has to go extra inside. Both of them finished up their 7th sled at the 3:25 mark, tapped the marker and out the door. And my money would be on Lindsay Lane to be back inside first off the 2nd run. Brianna Wallen making up some ground here on the flip sled. She's caught up to Helms. She's passed Dunlap, and she's left, Annalise Moore 1 rep behind her. Wallen done. Helms done. Dunlap done. 1 more for Moore. 3:55 on the clock. And Mrs. Taylor Self making sure that Danielle Dunlap tags her pylon. She tried to do exactly what we talked about and cut out the door across other lanes. Not getting away with that here at CrossFit Crash. Sevan, are you there?
He stepped out.
Excellent, excellent. Thought so, but I wasn't sure. all the women in heat number 3 out on their run. This is round 2 of 4. It's a 19-minute time cap on this one. The leaders of this heat were out the door in about 3:25. We have seen, in most cases, a falling off of about 20 seconds, at least 20 seconds by round. But if you're able to maintain 3:30 rounds across the board, that would put you on pace for 14 minutes. The current time to beat amongst the elite women is 16:51 from the previous heat by Ariel Saunders. However, Caroline Kutz had a time of 15:11 for the Masters women earlier on the exact same event. And as expected, Lindsay Lane, with about a 20-foot lead and 2 reps on the GHD over Ellie Hiller, they maintained the 1 and 2 positions in this heat. Every round consists of 400 meters on the run. That's 2 laps around the building here. 30 GHD sit-ups with Lane and Hiller working on those now. And then 7 flip sleds, 360 pounds on the flip sled for the women. Brianna Wallen about to enter the screen on the left in the pink sports bra, 3rd in the heat. And Madeline Helms, who comes into this event 8th place overall, she'll be in the white top, black shorts, 4th in the heat as we pass the 6-minute mark. Dunlap and Moore back inside the building. You see Dunlap there in the black and pink, and you'll see Moore enter the screen in green and black in the middle lane. As she's going towards her GHD, Ellie Hiller, who came in after Lane, has left the GHDs before Lane. Lane is now done, but it's Hiller who's going to be first to get her hands on the flip sled in round number 2. Through the first 2 heats of Masters and the first 2 heats of elite women, we've seen several different variations and techniques on the flip sled. Both of these women are pulling from the ground with the double overhand grip, transitioning at the hip, getting underneath it, and then driving it up and over the top. 4 reps down for Hiller, 4 reps down for Lane, and through 2 rounds, it's really tight between these two. They've kind of exchanged the lead implement by implement. Brianna Wallen done with her GHDs. Madeline Helms done with her GHDs. Both women heading back to the flip sled for their 2nd time. Last flip for your leaders in round 2. Lane's got it up and over. Hiller's got it up and over, but Lane is going to be making the turn, and she's going to have about a 5-second lead over Hiller at the halfway mark. 7:30 have elapsed. We said that they were on pace for 14 minutes. They're now on pace for 15 minutes, and we see how much the change in split time can be in just 1 round. One flip sled to go for Brianna Wallen. She's going to finish up her 2nd round at 8 minutes. That puts her on pace for a 16-minute split if she can maintain it. Madeline Helms with 2 reps to go. Dunlap fending off Moore by 1 rep on the flip sled for the 5th and 6th spot in his heat. Dunlap 3rd place this morning on event number 1. Maddie Helms out the door as she gets set on her run about 25 seconds behind Wallen. Two flips to go for Dunlap, 3 flips to go for Moore. Both of them are successful there. Drop those numbers by 1. Dunlap with her final flip sled in the 2nd round. 9 minutes have elapsed now, so we've got 10 minutes to go to the time cap. And if you're not finished up with the first 2 rounds in this underneath 9 minutes, given the nature of the compounding effect of this event, it seems unlikely that you're going to finish all those flip sleds in the last round.
Wow, fancy camera angles. We lost Brian. You had to go to the bathroom?
I think we need to go fix something. He's coming back.
You're wired. I've been working on it.
Lindsay Lane takes over the lead on the run in round 3 from Ellie Hiller once again. 10 minutes have passed. 9 minutes to the cap. Shouldn't it be an issue for these two? They've looked pretty good throughout. Hiller generally faster on the GHDs. Lane generally faster on the run. Flip sled relatively similar. We should have a good battle all the way in between Lane and Hiller here. Brianna Wallen still looking strong. She's entering the building now, about 15 reps behind, but maintaining the 3rd spot in the heat pretty solidly.
These are some great technical issues. We lost audio from you, Brian. Brian, we lost your audio.
I'm here.
Oh.
You can hear me, right?
I can. Thank you. Yep, you sound great.
Yeah, I just had it on mute. I was talking to our technical producer, Andrew.
I didn't know we had one of those.
I just called him that for the first time.
Okay, so the stream's looking
We have
beautiful again.
we have a lot of technical producers. We have Will, we have Caleb, we have Andrew. It's a good crew. Ellie Hiller once again has taken over the lead on the GHD sit-ups from Lindsay Lane. Lindsay Lane, Sevan has generally been better on the run. They've been pretty similar on the flip sled, maybe a slight edge to Lane there. Hiller faster on the GHDs. They're the leaders of this heat, and we have 2 different storylines. Lane 5th this morning, Ellie Hiller 3rd here last year, but 0 points this morning, so a lot to make up in terms of leaderboard for her, but she's setting herself up pretty well. This is the 3rd of 4th rounds. They've got 2 and 3 flips respectively to go to get into the final round, and we're just at about the 11.5-minute mark. Brianna Wallen in the background has been closing on them a little bit, round by round, and she's looking pretty good as she starts on her 3rd set of flip sled. Madeline Helms 4th in the heat, Dunlap 5th, and Annalise. And for the first time since for the first time, Hiller is now out the door ahead of Lane with about a 10-second lead.
We know that Caroline Kutz was a 15:11. That's the Masters athlete that holds the record. But what did Ariel Saunders have?
16:51.
And so that is the fastest time for the elite women. That's the time to beat.
Correct.
And it does look like with 1 round left that it could be done, right? It gives them 4 minutes and 30 seconds to do it.
Absolutely. Dunlap in the pink and black there comes into this one in 3rd place overall, but she's currently 5th place in this heat, struggling a bit with the flip sled. Annalise Moore in the middle of the screen, currently 6th in this heat.
Brian, on the GHDs, are those risers, are those typical? Like, would we see those at the CrossFit Games or semifinals and regionals? And do they have a choice to use those or not to use those, or it's just standard for everyone?
Standard for everyone. Normally, the distance that's required to touch the ground is between 3 and 5 inches less for men than women. So I think when the men come, they'll take the risers away and they'll have to touch the floor. Madeline Helms on camera here, 8th place after the first event this morning, currently 4th in the heat. She still has plenty of time in terms of being able to finish this underneath the time cap. And there are a lot of times that we've already seen, or several times we've already seen, within 40 seconds of the time cap. She might be adding her name to that list. So a lot to fight for here with 1 round to go for Helms. There's Brianna Wallen, 1 of 2 laps done on her final run in the 4th round and final round of this one. There's Ellie Hiller, the current leader for the heat, looking to make a charge back up the leaderboard after taking a 0 this morning. Tap the pylon, make her way down. She's been excellent on the GHDs. You guys, 14 minutes or so have elapsed by the time she gets there to the GHD sit-up. And Lindsay Lane is now inside the building as well. Hiller's been better on the GHDs, and she's going to have about a 5-rep lead by the time Lane gets going.
And Lindsay Lane was one of your original, top 5 finishers, correct? Coming into the weekend?
Yep, and 5th place after 1 event this morning.
What was the girl's name in the orange again, Brian?
Ellie Hiller. Ellie Hiller was 3rd place here last year. And yeah, I think you weren't on with me, but I had mentioned that she won the swimming event last year. That was one of the reasons I didn't pick her in the top 5 because there's no swim this year. But she did have 3 other event finishes last year where she earned 90 or more points in the Z-score format. So she's not a one-trick pony by any stretch of the imagination.
And she took 0 in event 1. Was it a
Yeah,
pegboard?
that's-
Was it a pegboard error, or was just something she wasn't able to do?
I think she just hit muscular fatigue on the pegboard. Okay, done with 30 GHDs, 14:55 on the clock. So she should have no problems as far as Ariel Saunders is concerned. But with 2 heats to go, she's going to want to get these done as quickly as possible, especially taking the 0 this morning. This is massive for her in terms of rebounding from that this afternoon. Lane is now done. She's about 25 seconds behind Hiller. She's jogging down the floor. This is the 3rd of 7 flips for Hiller. 4 to go, 15:25 as elapsed. Lane's got her first rep in the book, so it's a 3-rep lead on the flip sled for Hiller over Lane. That equates to about 30 seconds. Very difficult to make up ground here unless someone just hits absolute fatigue. Now, Hiller, I think, has enough experience under her belt that she'll dig deep for these last 2 reps. I'm going to see if she can get a time under 16 minutes here. That would be more, almost a minute faster than Ariel Saunders.
15:50.
Lane is closing some ground, but it's not going to be enough. Both women are going to put up times faster than the previous heat. 15:59, Hiller, new time to beat. 1 flip to go for Lane, and she's looking to have, in my opinion, another really strong finish here on day number 1. 16:09 for Lane. Brianna Wallen is now working on her flip sled. She's got 2 out of 7 done. Brianna Wallen, where did she finish this morning? She was 12th this morning, so not a bad start to competition for her. She is potentially going to be ahead of Ariel Saunders' time as well. 20 seconds until Ariel's time, 2.5 flips to go, so it's going to be very close. She should be able to get inside of Bree Dunbar, though, unless she hits a massive wall here. This is flip number 6 of 7 in the last round. We're at the 16:50 mark, so Ariel Saunders currently with the 3rd best time. Last flip for Wallen here. She's got about 15 seconds to get inside of Bree Dunbar. She's going to do that. 16:58, another solid finish for Brianna Wallen. Brianna Wallen, by the way, Sevan, gave birth 9 months ago.
Wow. Is that something her coach is over there on the side telling her, like, hey, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, you just lost a place? Or is it not that type
I don't know
of
if he's telling her that she lost a place or not. I think he's just telling her, hey, you're close to the end. Let's give a big push here. Madeline Helms, as you see on screen there, is heading back to the flip sled for her final time. She had an 8th place finish this morning, 8th overall in the competition. And 90 seconds to the time cap. I had mentioned at the end of round 3 that we had several times within 40 seconds of that time cap. 18:27, 18:32, 18:29. So 3 times within 5 seconds. All of those times are times that Helms can get inside of, and it would be great for her if she's able to do that. Helms is also a alumni here at Crucible. She was 5th place here last year. This is her 2nd consecutive time competing here.
Oh, Danny, don't worry, buddy. Monday
1
morning,
flip to go.
I have a very special guest for you.
18:17 for Helms. That does come in ahead of those 3 other women that I mentioned by between 10 and 15 seconds. Dunlap done with her GHDs. Again, Dunlap came in 3rd overall after event 1 this morning. Obviously, with 1 event and then going to 2 events, you can see some massive flips. But a great event this morning, and now it's a bit of just damage control. How much work can she get done before the time cap here? 20 seconds until that. That's 1 flip in the books. 2 or 3 flips is likely going to be the answer. Annalise Moore working on her final set of GHD sit-ups with 10 seconds to go.
We have 1 camera that's hogging all the bandwidth.
3 flips for Dunlap. And that's time. So new times to beat coming out of that one. Ellie Hiller and Lindsay Lane going back and forth, round by round, movement by movement. Ultimately, Ellie Hiller, 15:59, the first athlete in the elite women's field to go sub 16, and she'll have the time to beat with 2 heats to go.
I like the team that comes out and moves the pigs back to the
The guy in the black pants over there is Kevin Steinhaus. He's on that Grit House team. that I believe, absent his injury, was one of the top 10 teams in the world this year.
Yeah, he was flipping it quite easy.
The guy in the white shirt and the red hat actually competed on his team at Crescendo with a guy that I coached from Chicago that I brought down here last spring. You know what? We didn't talk about her earlier, but Ashley Shoemaker is one to watch in this event for sure.
So you want to see the leaderboard?
Yeah, we can definitely see the leaderboard. Heat 4 for the elite individual women are heading outside to their starting positions. In this heat, we go to the top. We'll start at the top. See if we have anyone.
Oh, there have been some changes.
Tyler is literally sorting it live as we go. Let me see here.
All right, never mind. Good on you. Does he have to do all this manually?
He's doing it right next to me, where we can probably see him at the
3, 2, 1. Here we go.
I don't even know how to bring the clock up, so I wasn't able to take advantage of the clock last time at all.
Caleb. I think Caleb's pulling it down at times because of the streaming.
It'll only show when on Brian's screen for some reason. I haven't figured out why.
All right. Well, I can see
6
the
women
clock.
in this
Good for
heat.
me.
Once they get back inside the building, lane 1 is going to be Hannah Hardy. Lane 2, Emily Beroth. Lane 3, Callista Lang. Lane 4, Lydia Fish. Lane 5, Mary Helen Saunders. And lane 6, Ashley Shoemaker.
And the reason why you don't see the athletes is they have started on their first 400-meter run. Sorry, didn't mean to yell in your ears, Caleb. They will be running 400 meters. They'll come inside. Then they will flip the pig. And then they will do GHD.
GHD sit-ups before the pig.
Oh, darn it. I was watching you nod your head like I was doing a good job. Damn it.
I was mostly impressed with Caleb once again for having the workout scrolling across the bottom. And I was nodding because I thought you were reading from there and you couldn't possibly mess it up.
Yeah, I didn't even see that. 400-meter run, 30 GHD sit-ups, 7 flip sets, seven flip sleds, 4 rounds, sled weighs. It's heavy.
Says it right there.
360 pounds for the women. 19-minute time cap. Has anyone needed? How many women have been capped so far?
Heat 1, 4. Heat 2, 3. Heat 3, 2.
Okay, it's good.
Ashley Shoemaker is the first one back inside after the run. All of the women back inside and working on GHDs. Sub 1 minute, 45 seconds.
Ashley Shoemaker is the young lady in the foreground with the white top and the, I don't know what you'd call that, light blue aquamarine shorts.
Great description.
Seafoam green. Seafoam green.
Seafoam green. Thank you.
Even better.
I can't wait till the debrief tonight to figure out what your thoughts are on this, Souza. Why some cameras stutter and some don't. Do you have any theories?
I have no idea. The one that's stuttering is actually hooked into the Ethernet too. I don't know why. And mine's on Wi-Fi and seems to be the better one.
Yeah, and Hiller's is now not stuttering, but it's so choppy. It's such a trip that one would be choppy.
And he's on he's plugged in too.
Hiller, is your camera set to 720? Go ahead, Brian.
Shoemaker first and off the run, but third to the flip sled. It's Lydia Fish leading the way in Heat 4 for the women. Hannah Hardy on the left side of your screen in blue and black in lane 1 with the fastest cycle rate on these flip sleds so far. So it's Fish and Hardy, and then lane 5, Mary Helen Saunders and Shoemaker in 6. But everyone's in it. Lane 2 and 3, Emily Beroth, Callista Lang, 2 reps behind the leader. So first to 6th, very tight here in round number 1 for heat number 4. Fish is going to get her first one done and out the door at 3:25. We've seen that exact split time already, and that's generally on pace with where you're going to want to be if you want to put up one of the top times. Hardy out the door, Saunders out the door, Shoemaker 1 to go, Beroth 1 to go, and Lang 2 to go. Shoemaker done. Beroth done. One more for Calista Lang. And at the 4-minute mark, Calista Lang joins the rest of her heat on the second 400-meter run.
Jonathan Ortega frozen in the foreground. Hey, Susan, make sure you guys choose 720. Have you guys switched the phones to 720 instead of 1080? Oh, and we're down a camera now, too. Son of a bitch.
Wait, which camera's down?
We only have 2 cameras. I only see camera 1 and Hiller.
And Hiller. Okay, I'll go find out what happened to that other camera.
Oh, now Hiller's down, too. There's Hiller. I don't know.
Hiller
James
turned it
Townsend-
off. Sorry,
Go ahead.
Hiller turned that one off, and it looked like our quality improved. I don't know. That's what they're saying on their end.
No. Hasn't improved on our end. Maybe switch. Has everything been switched to 720?
I don't know. I have to check all of them.
Okay. Has yours been switched to 720?
Unknown.
I'm on 720. Susan's on Wi-Fi, and we should be good.
Yeah, but no, but you can go into the settings and choose the camera stream to be 720 instead of 1080.
Everything's on 720. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Hiller.
Lydia Fish leading the heat back inside after the second run. Hannah Hardy, Maren Helen Sanders close on her heels. Shoemaker fourth in the heat currently. 5:45 has elapsed as 4 of the 6 women are working on their second set of GHD sit-ups. Emily Bieroth next inside right about 5:50 on the clock. And here comes Calista Lang, who had a pretty solid run to close the gap on the field a little bit there in round 2.
Everyone's back from the run.
Correct.
We're 6 minutes and 12 seconds into the workout.
So coming into this one, Lydia Fish was 4th place overall. Emily Bieroth was in 9th. Calista Lang was in 15th. Shoemaker was in 17th. Saunders was in 18th. Hannah Hardy took a 0 after having failures on the pegboard. So like Ellie Hiller, she's going to be looking to make up some big ground on this second event of day number 1. Currently, she's tied with Saunders for second, one flip sled behind Lydia Fish, who's leading the heat and came in 4th overall after the morning.
This lady with the edge shirt on next to a Shoemaker in the black, she's using the underhand technique too. I wonder if it's a technique that taller athletes use.
She's not that tall, Mary Helen Saunders.
No.
And Shoemaker, who is quite tall, is using the overhand grip. So I think it's just kind of personal preference. Lydia Fish out the door at the 7:30 mark. That's on pace for 15 minutes. The top time we've seen so far is 15:59 from Ellie Hiller. So, but actually, there, even though that's, and it seems like it's a minute slower, this is the exact pace that Hiller and Lane were on halfway through in the previous heat. Hannah Hardy's out the door. Mary Helen Saunders is out the door. Bieroth has now passed by Shoemaker. She's got 1 flip to go. Shoemaker working on her second to last flip in this round. And Calista Lang struggling with the pig back of the heat right now. Bieroth done just at the 8:10 mark. Currently 4th in the heat. Shoemaker 5 seconds behind her.
You can stay inside, Souza, or don't go past that door. The signal just gets horrible out there. Thanks, dude. Yeah, that's much better. Seema, my dad just asked why it sounded like I was watching air traffic control. to tell him you should see what it looks like. Heat number 4, 2 more heats to go, 6 heats total for the elite women. Then we'll parade the boys out here. And then the day will be over. Day 1 will be in the books.
Last flip for Callista Lang. As she's finishing that up, Lydia Fish is heading back inside after her third run. 9 minutes and 30 seconds has elapsed. So they'll exchange directions there. Fish getting set on her third round, 30 GHDs and 7 flip sled every time they get back from that run. She's got about a 15-second lead, maybe 20-second lead on Hannah Hardy. Hannah Hardy with a 0 this morning is looking to make a big move this afternoon to get herself back in contention. Mary Helen Saunders, 18th this morning. She's 5 seconds off of Hardy's pace at the moment. She'll be third in the heat as 10 minutes pass on the time clock. 19 minutes is the time cap for this one. They're all chasing Ellie Hiller from the previous heat of 15:59. Shoemaker back inside the building at the 10:15 mark. She'll be the 4th athlete to get to work on her third round of GHD sit-ups. Left to right, you see Hardy in the blue, Lydia Fish leading the heat in the green, Mary Helen Saunders in the all black, and Ashley Shoemaker getting on her GHD in the seafoam green shorts on the far right. B. Roth is going to be entering the screen in the white and red in lane number 2 in a second. There she is. Those are the top 5 right now in heat number 4 out of 5 for the elite women. Lydia Fish done with the GHDs, nice and efficient there once again. And she's a younger athlete, not one of the heavier athletes, but great efficiency in her movement. She has not struggled at all with the flip sled. And a big thing that I talked to some of the guys about yesterday is you don't want to over pull it. You don't need to pull it all the way up to your chest. It's kind of like doing a power clean up to your chin when you don't only need to do a squat clean up to your belly button. Get it to your hip, let the legs drive it up the rest of the way. Less upper body pulling off the floor. I think Lydia Fish is doing that very well. One flip to go for Fish. 11:30 on the clock. Probably take about 10 seconds to get out the door. That'll put her at the 11:40 mark. If she's able to have a 4-minute final round, that will still put her under Ellie Hiller's time, and it would be her slowest of the 4 rounds. So Lydia Fish is in a great position to overtake the overall lead through 4 heats out of 5 in event 2 for the elite women. Hardy with 1 flip to go. She's on the left side in the blue. Saunders with 1 flip to go. She's closer to us there in the all black. Hardy out the door at the 11:55 mark. Saunders done with her last flip at 12 minutes flat. So about a 5-second gap between them. Saunders closing the gap by about 15 seconds inside the gym on Hardy in round number 3. Shoemaker and B-Roth working on their final or third set of flip sleds. B-Roth has slowly been reeling Shoemaker in. Shoemaker was the early leader in this one. B-Roth was towards the back. And we've seen this from a few athletes in both directions as these heats have worn on. Some athletes seem to let a lot more time go by every round, where others are able to reel in the athletes that maybe started too aggressively. Final flip for Shoemaker. She's going to be out the door at 12:45. 1 to go for B-Roth. If she can get it done quickly, I kind of like her chances to potentially chase Shoemaker down in the last round. As it is, it's about a 10-second gap. We'll see what she's able to do. Back on the other side of the floor, you see there Callista Lang finishing her 30 GHDs. Callista's looked great on the run, fine on the GHDs. It's the flip sled that stopped her in her checks. She's a young athlete. And for me, if you're a young athlete trying to compete in this sport, this is exactly why you come to a place like this, to do something that's uncomfortable, do something that's challenging. And, you know, if you don't do great at it, okay, then that should be some motivation when you go back home to improve at that technique or that movement. Lydia Fish back inside, 13:35 on the clock, in a great position here to potentially take down that time to beat. 30 GHDs, 7 flip sleds stand in her way. She's got 2 minutes and 15 seconds before Ellie Hiller's 15:59. We had a pass there on the run. Mary Helen Saunders, as I thought might be the case, overtaking Hannah Hardy. So currently Fish 1, Saunders 2, Hardy 3 in the heat. Viroth and Shoemaker out on the run. Lang working on her flip sleds in round number 3. And with 4 minutes to go to the time cap here, really, if I'm Calista Lang, I just want to put my energy into making sure that every attempt is successful. Get out on that run and hopefully get through the GHD sit-ups. There's plenty of other women that have been in a similar situation to that, so it's still worth fighting. Fish, 1 rep to go. She's got 1 minute and 10 seconds before Ellie Hiller's time to beat. 7 flip sleds stand between her and that time.
What was the time? 16:51.
15:59.
15:59. She knows. She knows too. She's flipping with a vengeance. She knows.
Well, her coach is Perrin Bear from Training Think Tank, or at least she used to coach with Training Think Tank. She's over there in the corner. You might be able to see her. And yes, I'm sure that she was briefed on what was needed to be done. 20 seconds or 29 seconds to go, 2 flips to go. So this is going to be your new time to beat Lydia Fish, 4th place this morning. And with 1 heat to go, is going to have the time to beat. That time is going to be 15:42.
Wow. What stops the clock, Brian, when it lands on the other side, or?
Yes.
So when it finally hits the ground.
Yeah, we talked about having them run back and touch their pylon one last time, and Bear ultimately decided against it. Mary Helen Saunders with a 2 flip sled lead over Hannah Hardy. Hardy had led against Saunders for most of this one. Saunders overtook her on the run in the final round. She's looking over her shoulder. Both women are feeling fatigued. 15:59 is passed by. Lindsay Lane, 16:09 is passed by. Ariel Saunders, 16:51 is the next time that they're chasing. Both women should have that within their sights. This is the last flip for Saunders, and that's 16:29, a great finish for her after 18th this morning. 1 to go for Hardy. She needs to get as many points as possible here after 0 this morning. That's going to be 16:39, so she'll sneak in underneath the time from Ariel Sanders, but behind Mary Helen Saunders. Shoemaker making quick work of her last flip sled so far. She's had a little bit of a seesaw battle with this event, quite frankly, starting really well, fading a little in the middle and looking strong here at the end. That 16:51 is now passed by. 17:07 the next time from Dunbar. That's passed by. 1 flip to go for Shoemaker. 17:14 Shoemaker is done with this event and done with her day of competition. B-Roth, who had a top 10 finish this morning, is not going to have that here, but can still try to be as close to that median score as possible. There have been several women who have not finished this at all, so she still could earn very close to 50 points on this test. 17:34 and B-Roth is done. That leaves Calista Lang out on the run in the last round as the last athlete working. She got 1 minute 20 seconds, and as we said, likely will get back from the run, and as other athletes have done in previous heats, it will then just be a race against the clock to get as many GHDs as she can.
Great job juggling Saunders and Sanders back-to-back names. That was the least they could have done is space out their placement there for you, but they couldn't throw you for a loop, Brian. Good job handling that.
55 seconds to go. Let's see how many of these 30 reps she can get. Sevan, you want to count them down for us?
No. But thank you. I appreciate you. I can't count so good. Spiegel, the economic impact of the crash Crucible must mean tens of dollars on the economic impact of the Metro Spartanburg area. That is correct. Souza himself has already spent $50 there in food.
30 seconds to the time cap. Calista Lang here working on her way on her last set of GHD sit-ups. As we mentioned, 4 women in heat 1, 3 women in heat 2, 2 women in heat 3, and then Calista Lang, 1 woman in this heat, will have not finished this. If That would be something if the last heat they all finish 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. We'll have to wait to see. 10 seconds to go.
I will tell you this: CrossFit Crash has saved Spartanburg hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars in people needing to go to the hospital to get their insulin, metformin, and other pharmaceutical needs.
Heat 4 of 5 in the books for the elite women. New time to beat. Lydia Fish, really impressive from start to finish, 15:42. She joins Ellie Hiller's time of 15:59 is the only 2 times we've seen from the elite individual women that are under 16 minutes. Still got to mention it. Caroline Kutz, 15:11 in the Masters division. She was second place amongst the elite women this morning. So far, she's got the top score on this one. We'll see if anyone in the last heat can do anything about it.
Do you think any part of herself is like kicking herself? Like she's like, oh man, I should have entered individual, more prize money, and I would have been cleaning up.
Well, between events 1 and 2, I saw her in the parking lot and she said, maybe I should have done individual.
Oh, so she thought it. Okay, she knows. She knows she's a badass. Down to 1 camera. Just 1 camera. And the picture is clear, and who better to have in it than Hannah Black at the Crash Crucible? The final heat.
Shall we try outside or should I stay at the door?
Come right. If you can we can watch the start, and then you can just come right back in. Yeah, we can mess with it.
Got it.
That's good. That's good. Don't get crazy. That's good. Don't get crazy. Don't wander too far.
So,
hey, I want to say thank you to all the police officers out there working overtime today. I know it's happening everywhere in the country. We appreciate you greatly. My family especially. I know all the moms and dads out there, people with kids, people who really can use your extra watchful eye while we walk around and drink coffee and take our kids to skate parks and soccer games and just try to go about our daily life. Thank you so much to all of the police officers out there working overtime today and all the law enforcement out there. We really, really appreciate you. This podcast always has your back.
3, 2, 1, go.
Bam. Corey Leonard, Sebi, this 1 camera is 10,000 times better than what the games had for Masters this year. Well, the thing is it's 10,000 times better than what we did at Zello. So it is a huge improvement. I am feeling a little bad, though, because I know JR put a lot of money and time into what I thought would fix the problem. And I can see it wasn't the whole problem. I leaned on JR too much, and it's not the whole problem. We have some other problems, too. But thank you. I appreciate that. Each time we take a run at this, it will get better and better. The thing is that with Brian commentating, you can this is a radio show. For those of you who remember AM radio, this is – I actually have been listening to a little bit of ESPN radio lately, NFL games. Those guys suck, those local guys, compared to what you guys are getting from Brian today. It is nuts. I've been watching, listening to a lot of Chicago Bears serious games, and man, their local broadcasters for the Chicago Bears can eat a dick. Sorry, go ahead, Brian.
Is AM radio from Annie Oakley's time?
It is. It is. Brian, you could do boxing always had the best radio commentating. It was unbelievable how good boxing was. The commentators.
What about horse racing?
And you could do boxing. Yeah, all that shit that like where the guys just tuned into the minutia.
Yeah, but I don't know the minutia of those sports. I know the minutia of 2 sports.
Brian, the reason why I think the taller person would use the under grip position is because when you're taller, you don't need to bend your arm as well. Because of the I guess I don't know if it's the fulcrum point, but as you lift that thing, it's going to break your arm unless you're taller, right? Oh, you can't see me as I'm doing it with my hands. So you need your.
It's just like you've spent 50 years being tall, and so you're talking about something that I can't relate to.
Understood.
Allison Wynn, first in off the run for the final heat of individual women on day 1. This is event number 2. It's called Reflip. This is a variation of a 2016 CrossFit regional workout. That workout had running on an air runner. This one is outside. It had GHD sit-ups, and that one had deadlifts 275. This has flip sled at 360. These ladies have 4 rounds of 400-meter run, 30 GHDs, 7 flip sleds with that weight. The women in this heat from left to right are Amanda Fisher in lane 1, Allison Wynn in lane 2, Aaliyah Miller in lane 3, Chloe Wilson in lane 4, Hannah Black in lane 5, and Eva Harvang in lane 6. Wynn was first in off the run. The rest of the women very close following that. All of them kind of jockeying for position here in the early rounds. We have seen leaders establish themselves early and hang on. We've also seen people go out hot and fade a little bit. It's really not until that 3rd round that we're going to know for sure who's who for the totality of what this event demands.
Both cameras firing on all cylinders. Picture looks beautiful.
That's Wynn in the pink t-shirt, black top. The blue hair behind her is Amanda Fisher. The big frizzy hair in the middle of the floor is Aaliyah Miller. When we get to her, Chloe Wilson's wearing a black sports bra and pink shorts. Those are the first four, but Harving in black in lane 5 and 6 were the last of the flip sled, and they are manhandling that.
Well, James Townsend said earlier, he was in the comments, to open the phone line. We can barely operate this without having anyone else interrupt. I would love to open the phone line, but I don't even think we're barely able to do it with all the moving parts we have now. Maybe that'll be a goal.
25 is the time we've been seeing for the first split. Allison Wynn out the door at exactly that mark. Chloe Wilson is going to be second out the door at 3:35. Hannah Black crushed the flip set. She's out the door at 3:40. Fisher 5 feet behind her. Harving 5 seconds behind that. And Aaliyah Miller, after a 0 this morning, is having a hard time with the flip sled. And I personally just think this is a problem of unfamiliarity with some of the implements being tested on day one, because Aaliyah Miller, on paper, is the second best athlete in this field, or maybe the third.
Brian, tell me how fast Hannah Black was at flipping the sled. Was she the fastest you've seen yet?
It felt that way.
Felt that way. I like it. I like feelings. Good. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't put a clock on it. Haven't really put a clock on that at all, but she was 5th to the sled, and she left basically a second behind Chloe Wilson for 3rd. So she, I mentioned in earlier heats that it's about 8 to 10 seconds per rep. That's a lot of ground to make up. And in the first round, when everyone's freshest, to pass 2 women and almost a third against women that we expect to be near the top of the competition, we know that she has elite level strength. She won the snatch, the max snatch at the semifinal this year.
Was that her? Was that her in second? Or have we seen her, Hannah Black, go by yet? This is a great angle, Souza, because she left in 3rd, and I think now she's in 2nd.
I was not watching the screen at that time. I apologize.
No problem. John George, how much are those flip sleds? Listen, dude, you do not want one of those. It's one of those things you think is going to be cool, and it's going to just collect dust in your garage. Don't do it. Get a D-ball.
60-pound D-ball can do wonders, right, Sevan?
Yes. Yep.
So that was Aaliyah Miller going by. She's in the back of the heat right now. We should be looking for Allison Wynn, Chloe Wilson, and Hannah Black to be rounding the corner any moment. There is Wynn. She's going to be the leader once again, looking very steady on the runs, very smooth on the flip sled. I like this combination of events for her, and no one else is inside the gym yet, so she did not give anything away on the second run.
We do not want Hannah Black to come in after 3rd place. That means she lost a spot on the run.
Actually, Chloe Wilson lost 3 spots on the run, but 4 women all come in within 3 seconds of each other. It's Fisher, Wilson, Harving, and Black all within 3 seconds. So Wynn out in front, Aaliyah Miller towards the back. The other 4 women are separated by 1 GHD sit-up as they get started on the second round, 6 minutes into a 19-time cap workout.
What's JR saying? Has JR been talking to the crowd the whole day?
He's doing he's emceeing right now. There's a woman that is emceeing here. They usually trade off throughout the day. Just to put things in perspective for these ladies, Emma Harving comes in 2nd place after this morning's event. Chloe Wilson came 10th. Amanda Fisher 11th. Allison Wynn 14th. Hannah Black 16th. And Aaliyah Miller had 0 points this morning, getting caught up on the pegboard along with 6 other women.
Wow, Wynn's taking a huge lead.
Yeah, Allison Wynn with 3 flip sleds done, as Fisher, Black, Wilson, and Harving all finished their GHDs within 3 reps of each other. But now that's 4 flip sleds in the book, and already working on a 5th. She's going to have 5 done before Fisher even touches her sled, who's currently 2nd in the heat. Win with 1 flip to go, and if we're looking at overall times to beat, it's 7:25 on the clock right now. 7:30 was the split time for Lydia Fish, so she's 5 seconds ahead of the theoretical split time there. But she looks much smoother in terms of everything than anyone else other than Caroline Kutz has looked that I've seen so far. Fisher, Wilson, Black, and Harving Racing on the flip sled, it's Fisher and Black that are pulling ahead of Wilson and Harving. You see Wilson resting on her sled there. Black in the middle of the screen. This is her last flip. She's passed all three of those women by. She's taken over second in the heat. Fisher is about to finish. She's going to be 5 seconds behind that. Wilson and Harving have lost 2 full flip sleds relative to those two ladies. So it's Wynn out first, Black and Fisher, Wilson and Harving, and Aaliyah Miller rounding out the final heat of women.
And Wynn may have a whole lap on Hannah Black. She may have 200 meters on Hannah Black. She went out 50 seconds after her. Dustin Witch, Brian is an incredible announcer. He should be hired by CrossFit or the NFL. Haven't been able to visualize the whole time, but listening, and I feel like I know exactly what's happening. Yeah, it's awesome. I agree.
5 of the 6 women out of the door. Aaliyah Miller on screen there. She's got 1 flip sled to go in the second round. And I'm expecting that by the time she finishes this and turns around, she might see Allison Wynn heading back inside the arena. Allison Wynn looking very good through 2 rounds after a decent performance this morning, looking to climb back up the leaderboard heading into day number 2.
Brian, this girl with the bandana on, you're saying that she's one of the best athletes there. She's just struggling just with that one movement.
Well, she struggled with the flips with the pegboard this morning, and she's falling behind on the flip side. Now, keep in perspective that she's going against a heat of women here that are all right now on pace for probably top 10 finishes. So it might be one of these situations where she's doing okay and she finishes 15th, but it looks bad relative to her heat. And we won't know that until things settle out, but that could be the case.
Cave Dastro, if she was running any slower, she'd be going backwards. Wow.
And there is Allison Wynn coming back in, 9:35 on the clock. So very, very similar to Lydia Fish's pace and Ellie Hiller, who are the only 2 women that have gone sub 16. And I'm going to say it right now. I think Caroline Kutz would be the overall leader of the elite individual women's division if she'd registered in this field. 10 minutes have elapsed of the 19-minute time clock. Allison Wynn working away on her 3rd set of 30 GHD sit-ups, waiting for the 2nd and 3rd place athletes to come in. I think they're very close to each other. Hannah Black back inside at the 10:15 mark. Amanda Fisher only 3 steps behind her. So it's Wynn, Black, and Fisher, the top 3 in this final heat.
Hannah Black, 45 seconds behind Wynn.
Emma Harving back inside the building at the 10:35 mark. She's put some distance between herself and Chloe Wilson. As Harving lines up to start her set of 30, Wynn finishes her 30, turns around, hands on the flip sled immediately to get to work. Chloe Wilson is walking back inside the building. We'll see her pass by Wynn here in just a couple of seconds.
Wow. Does that shock you? Do you think something's wrong with Chloe Wilson? Does that concern you? Like maybe she's sick? She got the vid?
Impossible to say. I would say that overall running is not one of her best attributes, but she's pretty good across the board. To have the results that she has the last 3 years at semifinals. But it's an off-season competition, and it is true. And if you talk to any athlete here, Marquand Jones was giving me a hard time about this yesterday. He's like, you don't really know where we're at. Some of us might be really targeting this as something we want to try to win, and we've been training for it for months. Others might just be coming and showing up because they know it's going to be a fun and well-run competition. Allison Wynn out the door at the 11:40 mark. If we project a 4-minute round, which is this relatively slow round for someone who's doing well in this, that would still put her 2 seconds ahead of Lydia Fish's time to beat. So I think things are looking good for Allison Wynn to potentially get the event win here. If not, she'll be very close to Fish and Hiller amongst the top 3 and very high on the points. Fisher and Black continuing to go rep and rep on the flip sled. They've been virtually inseparable after Black made that move on the first round of the flip sled.
Hey, Hannah Black has a whole different technique. She has the under grip, but also does a jerk. It's like an under grip jerk. Did you see it? Wow.
Yeah, she's right in front of me there. And she's out the door and probably about an 8 or 10 second lead on Amanda Fisher, but Amanda Fisher showing some urgency out the door. I like to see that. She definitely wants to try to keep Black as close as possible. Both of them are, even though I think they're nowhere near the top times that we'll see on this, they will have very respectable scores against the entire field. There's Chloe Wilson working on her flip sled. She's about 2 reps behind Harvang. And Wilson actually, even though she gave away a ton of distance on the run and walked in the door, between the GH closing some ground on Harvang here, and I wonder if there was a bit of strategy involved. Both of them have 6 minutes to the time cap, so they absolutely can finish underneath that. We'll see if there's a similar strategy employed by Wilson in the last round, where she maybe sandbags the run a little bit to take advantage of her skills inside the gym. Either way, Harvang's out the door at 13:15. Wilson has 2 reps to go. Aaliyah Miller 2 reps behind that. This is the final heat of 5 for the elite women. It's their second of 2 events on day 1. It's a 3-day competition here in Spartanburg. This is the Retour. This is Reflip, the rewritten version of a 2016's regionals workout. Chloe Wilson out the door. She'll start on her final of 4 rounds of 400 meters running, 30 GHDs and 7 flip sleds, 360 on the sled. Aaliyah Miller, the last woman in the heat, working on her flip sled.
Wow.
And as she's doing that,
Wow.
Allison Wynn still looking great back inside at the 13:50 mark. It is going to be close between her and Lydia Fish, but she's still in the picture for the potential overall event win.
Hey, Wynn is making the rest of the pack look bad at this time. And I mean, it says crazy stuff about Miss Caroline Klutz, but Wynn is killing it. She doesn't look fatigued. She looks like she's just warming up. Final round of GHDs. Her last pig flip looks better than her first pig flip. Heidi Kroon bringing the heat. So, Marquand, you came to lose. Jordan Adcock, athlete in her own right, adds, well, good point, Brian, about athletes having different priorities with some training specifically for the comp versus others taking a legit off season.
Hannah Black back inside the building. Amanda Fisher maintained the distance that she was behind her to start that run. So Allison Wynn is 1 rep away from finishing those GHDs. Hannah Black with a 2-rep lead over Fisher starting their final ride. We'll stay with Wynn here. We have 40 seconds exactly until the time to beat from Fish. And if they were competing side by side, or if you could see her ghost for any of those Mario Kart fans from the past, they would literally be rep for rep right now. This is exactly the pace that Fish was on. She finished her flip sled 1 second faster than Wynn. 4 reps to go. We'll see if she can close the gap. This is her 4th of 7 flips. 3 flips to go. 17 seconds to Fish's time. Now, in the performance scoring system, they're going to get basically 199 points either way, but it's always nice to get that extra win under your belt. And that's going to do it. Allison Wynn, 15:38, 3 seconds better than Fish. She's going to take the win, 14th and 1st for Allison on day 1 of competition. We'll see where that puts her on the overall leaderboard. But a phenomenal performance from start to finish by Allison Wynn. Sending a message to the ladies in heat number 5 here. Hannah Black looking great, getting off the GHD and running back down the floor. She opened up an extra 3 reps on the GHD relative to Fisher. 16 minutes has passed, so the top 3 scores are in. We have some other relevant times. Lindsay Lane, 16:09. That's going to stand as the 4th best time that we've seen. Hannah Black with a few reps down. Mary Helen Saunders at 16:29 and Hannah Hardy at 16:39 are the scores that Black and Fisher are chasing right now. Fisher about 3 reps behind Black. Black 2 reps to go. 16:29 from Mary Helen Saunders is going to pass. 1 flip for Black. She's going to be in at 16:35, narrowly ahead of Hannah Hardy, who was 16:39. That time's now gone by. Fisher's got 1 rep to go. She's trying to fend off Ariel Saunders' time. 16:46 for Fisher. Saunders had a 16:51, and that's going to be all of the finishers underneath 17 minutes. We still have 2 minutes to the time cap. Chloe Wilson and Emma Harvang going rep for rep on the GHD sit-up over there. And even though they're 4th and 5th in this heat, there are plenty of women who are still within their sights in terms of tracking down times from previous heats. Chloe Wilson taking a break on the GHDs. I thought they were both getting off at the same time. Harvang attempting to hurry back down here. She's got plenty of time to get this done. Aaliyah Miller making her way back to the GHDs to start for the final time. Emily Beroth had a time of in the 17:30. Ashley Shoemaker, 17:54. These are the times that Harvang is trying to chase down. Harvang, with a great workout this morning, looking to salvage as many points as she can. She should stay relatively close to the middle of the field So shouldn't be punished too badly for this performance. It's not that bad of a performance. She just happened to go against the best person we've seen in the division so far. 2 flips to go for Harving. 70 seconds to the cap. She's going to have a time really close to Shoemaker here. 17:57. It's 3 seconds slower than her, actually. Chloe Wilson, 1 minute and 7 reps to go. We have seen several times in this 18:30 range. Given the lack of urgency we've seen from her in the last 2 rounds, I'm not sure if she's going to be able to get it done that quickly, but I do think that she can beat the time cap. Three more reps for Wilson. Times for Moskovitz have passed by. Helms has passed by. Myers passed by. Wilkening's passed by. So she's losing some points to those women, but if she can stay close to them, that will help her out in the scoring model. 20 seconds till the time cap. Last flip for Wilson. 18:42. She beats the cap. Aaliyah Miller, the last athlete on the floor. Aaliyah Miller has seemingly gotten better as the rounds have gone on, but it's going to be too little too late. 5 seconds to go. She's going to get 3 flips, and she's going to try for a 4th. 3, 2, and we'll see if they give her. No rep, has to hit the floor before, says the judge on the floor. So 3 out of 7 reps done for Aaliyah Miller, and it's going to be a rough day for Aaliyah, who came into the day with a lot of expectations on her shoulders.
She gave it all she got there at the end.
Absolutely.
Caleb, are we starting a new stream for the boys? Yes. Okay. The women are done. There is only one group left for Friday, day 1 of the Crash Crucible.
2 groups, the Masters men and the Elite individuals.
Yes. The Masters.
But they'll do the exact same workout.
2 heats of the men and 6 heats, 2 heats of the Masters, 6 heats of the regular.
Exactly.
Wow, I can't believe I got that right. 8 heats.
Wow, there's a guy standing across from me in this gym with a stellar beard and a beautiful tie-dye gray CEO sweatshirt on.
I approve. When is the time on that? When do we come back? Let me see. I will
16:39. Now 4:39. That's 13 minutes from now is listed as the start time for the Masters. So get the new stream going, take a little bathroom break, and we'll see you guys then.
13-minute break. Thank you, everyone. Souza, thank you. Hiller, thank you. Where's the guy with the CEO sweatshirt? Yeah, there's my CEO. Yeah, baby. Yeah, rep it. Listen, we had a guest on last week. His name was James Sharnick. And I will put a link in all of the show notes for any of you who want to donate. And for all of you that are watching, I would really appreciate if you'd go to his GoFundMe page and donate whatever the minimum is. It's $5. And James Sharnick is a CrossFit coach. He's the head coach at his gym. He's a father of 2. He came on the show and told us about a bike accident he was in that's made him a quadriplegic. And he is healing. He is healing. It could take 3 to 4 years before he walks again. He came on the show and shared his story with us. He's a part of our community. The link will be in these show notes for the show notes for this show, the show notes from the previous show, the show notes from the previous show from that. Just hit that GoFundMe page. Go over there. Please do this. Please do this. I do not ask a lot of you. I'm not even asking. I'm demanding. Go over there. He's a good dude. I vouch for him. This isn't, you're not doing some sort of charity case. This is a charity case. This is a guy who is a big time contributor to the CrossFit community and to the health of the planet Earth. And he just needs a little help right now. Father to CrossFit coach at CrossFit Cerritus, CER. I don't even remember the name of it. I couldn't pronounce it. It's in Bakersfield, California. Pull up his GoFundMe on the stream. Not a bad idea. Let me see. James Sharnick. GoFundMe. I can't believe I remembered this. Caleb beat me to it. There it is. Great guy, people. Yes, look, Ken Walters. Heidi, donate or else. Ken Walters, yes, go donate. Great guy, great podcast. Yeah, go listen to the podcast I did with him too when you get a chance. Great podcast. Great hearing from him. It's not a sad podcast. It's not a pity story, but it's a guy laying in bed who 6 months ago was a high level CrossFit coach, helping cure the world's most vexing problem. And today he's banged up and can't walk or move his hands. All right, guys. See you in 10 minutes. Love you guys. Bye-bye.